Good to see you back, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Like when it didn't, well, it existed, but it didn't exist like it. Yeah, it was just some
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm out of the woodwork.
Let's see if I can do this. Right, my days are on, who knows what tomorrow.
Kurt, it's so nice to see you.
Okay. Here's mine. You get one too, don't worry.
I just want to open it.
There it is.
So you
So I
got,
said, the rate my day's gone, who knows what.
so you got two for that committee.
Yep, we got two.
Good.
We'll have to find out. Patience. Is Joe gonna be here?
Joe's not here.
Oh, okay.
He's in Virginia.
What part of Virginia is he in? I love Virginia.
I don't know. I don't know.
My grandma was from Virginia. I used to go visit.
Right.
Oh, God, it's a gorgeous state. It makes me want to go home and the mountains.
Is it, I was gonna ask, is it all mountains or is it like deciduous, like
Are you kidding?
Michigan and mountainous?
The northern part is far more northern.
Oh, okay.
Far more mountain. Kids. I'm not gonna be here. Oh, shoot, it's after 6.
Yep.
Sorry about that. That was pretty good. You fixed it. I banged the hammer, believe it or not. Meeting will come to order. I didn't realize what time it was. Hang on one second.
Sorry, my fault.
No, it's my fault for not. I need to put this so nobody, thank goodness Adam was out there. To lock my car.
Where's Joe? See up in his place.
Am I off? I'm on. All right. Sorry, it's been one of those days. Okay. Hang on here. All right, we're going to call to order, which we did at, what, 6:03? Okay. Need a roll call?
Ms. Howe?
Here.
Ms. Butler-Challenger here. Ms. Wilson?
Here.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Here.
Ms. Kellerman?
Here.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Here.
Mr. Benzie was absent tonight.
Okay, before we go into our civil reflections, there's a little bit of what I call housekeeping. Nobody ever told me where to put it. So for those of you who are following with the agenda, it's going to be right after the call of the order. I think Trustee Kellerman had something. You called me today, so.
You called me.
No, I didn't. Oh, but go ahead.
What were we?
You were talking about,
Sorry. It's been
all right, apparently not.
Brain freeze.
Yep, whatever. So anyway. Okay, our civil reflections, which will be 2, we'll have a pledge of allegiance and then a moment of silence. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, item 3, which is approval of the agenda. I have some changes. Does anybody else have changes? Apparently not. All right, what I'm looking for is to remove the deputy superintendent position to unfinished business to items for action. So that would be A, and then everything else would be,
Supervisor.
deputy super, did I say superintendent? Like I said, maybe one of these days we'll have a manager and I won't keep screwing it up. Okay, it is the superintendent position, and we're gonna move it from unfinished business to items for action.
Where do you want it on that list, Marie?
A,
So before the acceptance of the financial audit?
that's correct. I'll give you a little time to do some thinking. Okay. Oh, I was supposed to put a hand out there too. Okay. That's all right, that'll work. Okay, I think that's it. So we need a vote for the, well, a second to approve the agenda.
Did you make a motion?
I'll make a motion, yes, to change it. To take the supervisor's position out of unfinished business and put it into items for action.
Do you want us to vote just on that change or on the whole document with the change?
You usually vote with the whole document as amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, hold on. Ms. Howe?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yeah.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes.
Okay, item 4, for those that are following. Do we have a disclosure of a conflict of interest? I do not see any. Okay. Public statement 1, this is limited, you have your little thing there? Okay, to 3 minutes. It's designated for statements concerning the current events on the calendar.
Good evening. My name is Judy Gardy. I live on Park Lake Road, and I chair the Senior Services Advisory Board. 2 weeks ago, Cheryl asked that the township consider having the senior center open 5 days a week. And I believe that it was interpreted by the clerk as being for the purpose of a cooling center. That was a kind of a discussion that went back and forth. I don't think the intent of Cheryl's recommendation was that it be an official federally approved cooling center. I think that what she was actually speaking about was having the senior center open 5 days a week, especially when it is so hot, so seniors have a place to go and cool off, talk to each other, play a game, have a lemonade, play a game of cards, watch a movie, see a Tigers game. A place where it is not so frickin' hot, I'm sorry, but right now consumers and the Board of Water and Light are charging for electricity during peak hours almost twice as much money. It's more expensive to cool your house as a senior now than it is even in the winter to warm your house. Many of our seniors don't have air conditioning. They're projecting that tomorrow it'll be 90 degrees. I think that what Cheryl was trying to recognize is that we have seniors in the community for whom hot weather is a hardship. And being open 5 days a week, we're currently paying a director, a program coordinator, 26 hours a week. Why can't part of that time be Tuesday and Thursday? We're not talking about an increase in budget. We're talking about providing cooling for our seniors. And I just think that that was misunderstood 2 weeks ago. And I just wanted to, from my own perspective, offer some clarification from what I think that Cheryl was speaking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy. You're right. Absolutely.
All right, is there anybody else with public statements?
Cindy Cronk, 14248 Webster Road, Bath, Michigan. To follow up on what Judy just said, I have not had time to review the video. I have not had time to review your minutes. I have spoke to Cheryl Kellerman. She did not ask for a federal cooling center. She asked that the senior center be open 5 days a week. What I'm asking you is, I brought this up 2 months ago. We have a gal being paid for 26 hours a week who's working from home. I don't know what she does at home. I cannot get an answer of what she does at home. Whatever she does at home, could she not do that in the senior center? I have never gotten an answer to that question. And what I believe Cheryl was trying to get at is the fact that we're paying somebody. Why isn't she there and why aren't the doors open? I don't care if it's 5 degrees. I don't care if it's 105 degrees. Those doors should be open when you're paying an employee to do who knows what she's doing. Open the doors. Service your people. Let them come in and pick up their adult diabetes. Let them come in and pick up their walkers. There's no reason for those doors to be locked when we're paying somebody to sit at home. Yes, she has increased the Facebook post. We're getting 2 posts a week now. If I'm wrong, please let me know, Karen. I want to know what she does. I've asked and I've asked and I'm asking one more time. And I will keep asking until I get an answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crock. Is there someone else? Public comments? All right, we'll go to item, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm slow getting up, Marie.
Raise your hand.
I'm slow raising my hand too. I didn't see, I sent all of you an email. And I addressed Ryan's to a former email address by accident. That's the only one I had, and didn't realize it was done. So I had asked Brenda if she would forward that on to Ryan, and I'm assuming you did. So it's about the last meeting. You guys were talking about when you were going to update the boardroom rules of order. And Brenda had asked Ryan if I had mentioned writing the meetings, and Ryan smugly and condescendingly said, Rick Curtis had nothing to do with the boardroom rules. Well, I sent everyone an email expressing my displeasure with that, because I spent over a month researching other townships and writing those boardroom rules in June of 2009. Now, I know that what he said was sort of true. He didn't mean to lie about that, but it wasn't factual. What they had done, the new board after mine, was that they had updated them, and I guess they've been updated a few times, but I'm just going to be honest here. I worked hard for the township when I was there. I spent a month doing these in the evenings and weekends. Then Walter and Kathy and they had us form a subcommittee to go through those same boardroom rules, which we spent about 3 hours doing that. And then they were approved by the board. I did write those boardroom rules, and I demand an apology from this board, and particularly from Mr. Fewens Bliss, who was basically just trying to marginalize my work and took credit for it. He didn't write the rules. You guys wrote some changes. You updated them. You struck something, you added something, that's it. So I don't think it's too much to ask. To have an apology and a correction made. You didn't have any problem smearing me in front of people. That's my
That's your
my
key.
cue. I'm out of
That's your
here.
cue.
Anybody else want to go over time?
Judy, you're only allowed one time.
I didn't use all my time.
Oh, well,
So I just will ask a question. This work session under number
There
15B,
you go.
the work session on board meeting rules, what is the topic of that? What would the agenda be?
I'm sorry, what was the question? I was paying attention.
15B, the work session on the board, oh, it's just going to be on board rules?
Yeah,
And when are you going to
That's-
do a strategic plan? When are you having a work session on a strategic plan? I heard you talking about developing next year's budget. You don't have a strategic plan yet for this year. Got to have one for next year. Are they planning a strategic, are you planning a strategic planning session? Because I'd sure like to have the public be there too.
I think that's a good question, but I don't know if there's an answer. Apparently not.
I didn't use my time either. I'm so glad we have 3 minutes. I want to thank you,
Who's going to
Mr.
keep track of
Curtis.
that? Are you going to keep track of that?
I want to thank you, Mr. Curtis, because I had forgot that during Ryan's bashing of you, he also mentioned that the board rules were written because of me. Ryan, the time that we updated those boardroom rules, you and I did it, and it had nothing to do with disciplining Cindy. I'm not going to be as generous as Rick. That's a flat-out lie. And I don't want an apology from you because I know you're not able to do it, so keep it.
Any other takers? I'm going to look because if somebody stands up, I'm going to see them. So- Nope, we're good. All right, we're going to have item 6. This is items from the county, state, federal, and other agencies.
Sorry to get
Federal?
you again.
Nope, okay.
So I'm here tonight to introduce myself as the new executive director of Bath Charter Township Housing Commission, which makes me a federal entity at this point. I represent that federal entity. Just wanted to introduce myself to you folks, let you know that I've gotten a lot of thanks and I've gotten a lot of what are you thinking, and I just want you to know I'm thinking clearly and I'm moving forward over there. Looking forward to board support with the commissioner appointments. Later in the agenda, I can speak on that again. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Can I ask your effective date?
I'm gonna have to go back and look. It was May 31st,
Okay.
maybe?
Thank you.
I can get it to you. I just don't have that handy.
Thank you.
And actually, Ann Scholes is still there, but she will be phasing out at the end of the month.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, item 7, for those that are paying attention or have an agenda. This is the consent agenda. So these are accepted without discussion.
I move we accept the consent agenda as
Second.
printed.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Keel Bliss?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we have page 2, item 8, which is approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustee meetings held on June 5th, 2023 as submitted.
I second.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Keel Bliss?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, item 9, which is the approval of vouchers.
I make a motion to approve the vouchers
this meeting.
Second.
Mr. Funes-Bliss?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
No.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we have 10, item 10, which is our treasury report, but apparently we have someone else here, which we're very happy to see you here. Please step up to the microphone. Is you going to be Stephen Breyer? Okay, Stephen. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. So my name's Steve Breyer. I'm an audit partner with Siegfried Crandall. We're out of Kalamazoo. And I'm here to talk about the December 31st, 2022 audit. I'm going to keep it brief. I've been doing these presentations for about 25 years. And I found that if I talk too long, it's pretty dry, the accounting. So I'm just going to go over the audit objectives, the auditor's report, talk about the township's finances a little bit, focusing on your general fund, talk about internal control findings, and then open it up for questions from the board. So as far as audit objectives go, the objective is to express an opinion on the financial statements. There's a lot of different ideas out there of what people think an audit is. We're not doing a fraud investigation. We're not expressing opinions on your internal controls. We're actually expressing an opinion on the financial statements. So management's responsibility is to prepare, fairly present your financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Management's responsible for internal controls, design, implementation, and maintenance of internal controls. And you're also responsible for fraud detection, deterrence, and prevention. Our responsibility as auditors is to express opinions on your financial statements based on our audit. So as far as the audit opinion goes, the township received an unmodified opinion. It's a clean opinion. And one of the audit standards about a year ago, which was actually a good thing, moved the opinion up to the first paragraph. So when you're reading it, it's like a 3-page document. And that's what you're looking for, the opinion, and it's unmodified, it's a clean opinion, so it's basically saying your financial statements are prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and the numbers in there are good. As far as the township, how you're doing, I'm just going to talk briefly about the general fund because that's the operating fund of the township. If your general fund is in bad shape, township's generally in bad shape. So your fund balance decreased $277,000 during the year. You had revenues of $3.9 million and expenditures were $3.4 million, but you also had transfers to other funds in the amount of $826,000, and that's the reason that the general fund balance decreased. The ending fund balance was $3.3 million at December 31st. And a portion of that is totally unrestricted and unassigned, and that's about $2.6 million, and that represents about 77% of your operating expenditures. The GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association, they recommend a minimum unassigned or unrestricted general fund balance of about 17%. So you're at 77%, so you far exceed the GFOA's recommendation. So overall, the township's in good financial shape. Your other funds look good. Your sewer fund has an unrestricted net position of about $6 million, which is good, and it's not excessive because, as you know, with sewer funds, you can have a problem with the sewer system. There's lots of repairs and maintenance costs. So overall, I think the township's in good shape. The next thing, I'm going to move on to internal control findings, and there were none, which is very rare. I audit, or our firm audits about 150 municipalities, and I would say 5% don't receive a comment. You're within that 5%. You have a CPA firm that you contract with, and they prepare your financial statements. They help out with the year-end audit. And one of the big findings is that if we, as the auditor, if we prepare the financial statements, you get a material weakness over financial reporting. And that's prevented by the fact that you contract with a CPA firm. You could have a CPA on staff, or if anyone could prepare the statements, that would be acceptable. What you do is you contract with Maynard, and they do a great job. So we did not have any findings. So in conclusion, I just want to thank everyone. The audit went very smooth. We get the files a couple weeks ahead. Maynard provides us with work papers, so I get a jump on the audit in advance. We come out here for a couple of days and look at source documents. And so hopefully we don't interrupt you too much, but we are an interruption, obviously, of your day-to-day activities, and we're aware of that, so we try to keep that to a minimum. But we appreciate the efforts of the clerk treasurer and superintendent. They are here to answer all of our questions, and we also appreciate Maynard, Aaron Stevens and his team. They did a great job preparing the statements. So with that, I'm going to just open it up. If the board has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Sure.
I got one.
Okay.
All right, ARPA funds.
Yes.
Yes, you knew that was coming, I'm sure. Could you tell me, I know at the end of 2022, there was a warrant or a check that was written. You had that in the audit under ARPA, and it was, what was it? It was for 69,000? Nope, 89,103. And that was on November
for our
18th for property, but it came out of the ARPA funds.
What's your question?
So my question is, do you have that? Is it in on what page? I'm afraid just so the audience will know that was written under the ARPA funds. Because it was mentioned that we didn't have any.
So your ARPA fund currently has about 1.3 million in the bank, and you did spend, which is on page 15 of the audit report.
Thank you.
You spent 89,484 on capital outlay. I'm not exactly sure what that project was. Did you say it was a land purchase?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it says, but it was 89,103. So the discrepancy being, that's what I have from Jennifer as of the 5th of May.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
89,484
Okay,
as the expenditure.
484,
Yep.
okay. And no cents? That
There
sounds
probably are
terrible, doesn't
cents.
it?
We
They don't
don't,
put
we
it in
don't
there.
put those on the financial statements. They're all rounded up, so.
That's what I
There may have been
looked
some
like.
change. I'm sure
Okay,
that's possible.
okay.
So it's right there.
No, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, and yet here I have the check that was written to the title company for 89,103.
Well, there is a $381 payable.
Okay.
Which is on your balance sheet on page 13. That's likely
That's-
the difference.
I saw that.
And offhand, I couldn't
And it
tell you
was
who that's.
probably-
No,
expenses
that
from-
was done in November, or in January.
Yes, but in January, we can still pay items from the previous year. So
Okay.
this was probably an invoice for 2022
Well, that's-
that we paid in 2023.
Okay,
So that
except
is
it's
this.
$380.70.
Add
So
that to
that would
your-
be the.
Yeah.
381.
Okay.
yeah. Page 13 is the balance sheet where that accounts payable
Yeah.
is located.
Because for the
But
first
it's
3 months
15.
of the year, you
That's-
can pay invoices that were
Okay.
done in the year
And so our
prior.
audit doesn't really go December of '22. The audit actually goes into January of '23?
Could go into March.
Well,
Could-
I can't remember the month we were here, but we look at transactions through the date of field work to see if they should be booked back into the fiscal year
Okay,
that's being audited. So, when were we here? April, maybe?
Yeah.
April. So, yeah, we looked through transactions through April.
okay.
And if they had,
So it's really not December '22?
it is.
Because
It
the
is on the
transaction
accrual
should've-
basis.
It was for
So-
a project that happened in
Right.
22.
That was, the printing for the company is what it had, was 380. Okay.
Yeah, so if an expense is incurred during the fiscal year under audit,
Okay.
it's gonna get booked back into that year.
So that,
Oh,
Even though
so,
it's paid in 2023, it gets booked back because
gets
of
booked back
the method of
into-
accounting, yep. These
isn't it
funds,
interesting? Okay.
yeah,
No,
these funds
I
use
get it.
modified accrual accounting, which you have to book back
Okay.
items paid in 2023 yet are related.
prior period.
Yeah, because there's
Correct.
also two here in November and again in April. But you don't count those, just the one that's in January. Could February, because you said in,
Well, these ones probably were actually for
because that's a senior
this
expenditure.
year, for 2023.
Okay.
That's why.
But the one for January 2023
Right.
is not. That's
That was-
included.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep, so these two,
Okay.
the last two are actually for 2023.
So what I need to look at then for an audit is fallback in the next year to go into, let me use it. So for 2022, payments or numbers that we had that are connected with a particular item, whether you get paid or not, gets figured into 22, not 23.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Depends on what the invoice was for.
Okay. Nope, that was because you don't have anything to do with the ARPA funds for February and April. You only have to do with January of '23 for December '22.
We looked through April.
So those two items probably,
Okay.
they were not for 2022, they were all for 23.
Yeah, they're 23.
Right.
Okay. No, that helps, because I was a little, when you say there's 1.3 million in ARPA with the discretion or the warrants written for 89,400 and some odd dollars, that's
Yeah.
not subtracted from the 1.3 million?
It's actually 1,278,801 is the exact amount
Okay,
at December 31, 22.
so it's 1,200,000 and,
$278,801. And you have some
Okay.
interest in there possibly as well as the, yes, you.
oh, I'm sure there's
you have
interest.
some interest, yeah.
I'm sure there's interest. Thank you. No, because the bottom line for what we have for ARPA funds is a little different than, I mean, we're being told that nothing was written on the ARPA funds when in actuality they were. But in that, your interest and et cetera, and your 22, 23 combination makes for a different number. Did I say that right? You're looking at me like, I don't think she said that right. Did I, okay, thank you. That was my only question.
Okay,
Thank you, and thank you for all the work.
thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Well, thanks again, and I appreciate you having us do the audit. We enjoy working with you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
All right. Because that helps me to understand a little bit more about the ARPA, even though there's still two items that we've written on. So we've actually written on 4 items for our ARPA funds. And according to this, it's like 92,000. And what our audit is saying, it's 1 million and, or
Well,
2.
they've already been subtracted out of the balance I give you.
No, that's what I'm saying. So in doing that, I guess that's what I'm confused about, because I don't know the exact dollar amount of our ARPA
It's the
funds.
1.27, what he just said, with some interest since then, because that's as of December, so you have January
So,
through
As
March,
of
May.
May, correct, as of May, I have 92,000.
spent.
Yeah, it's spent.
Yeah.
Right,
The
from
3.7 that we
The,
received.
we received 3.7 of
Whatever
ARPA,
you
not
did.
1.3.
Huh? 1.3?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so 92,908 from 1,300,000 and whatever change. Isn't that great? I don't have that many numbers on my checks, well, I can't write that many numbers. But it is a little confusing if we've already spent 92,000 of the ARPA funds, then what's left? And what's left,
122.
that was December of '22, right? If I'm understanding,
Yeah,
okay.
but, I mean, these are all the checks that we've written, so the
Right.
last check we wrote was in, well, when you asked for it, April.
Because this is May 11th.
Okay, so yeah, I ran it
Okay.
through May 11th, the
Right,
day you asked for it.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm kind of a little confused with. But you're saying we have
Those are the only checks that I
1.2
showed that
well,
we've
that's
ever written
four.
out of it.
Correct. No,
Yeah.
and the statement was we've never written anything.
Oh,
out
I
of-
don't know who said that, I bet.
Okay, nope, that helped. Okay, committee appointments. Okay, what I've got, I'm ahead of myself. We have two appointments for, and I don't see, oh, there she is. Okay, Ms. Cronk, were you going to talk about the two appointments? Okay, thank you.
So, I have a board of commissioners that are my bosses, who I look forward to working with. Little confusion over the last week. It was on the township website that we had 2 vacancies.
Yes, that's why I brought.
Yeah, so in fact, there is 1 vacancy, and I confirmed that with Taylor and Karen over the last week. We found out why, and I guess you can take care of that. Karen, you can take care of that with Taylor, because there was 1 opening, not 2.
Because there's always been 2. That's
There's not
anything
2.
I've been told, is 2.
There's not 2, there's 1.
I know.
And that's what I'm saying, it's confusing.
It is confusing.
So anyway,
It's
in
very
tonight's
confusing.
packet,
There are
excuse
2.
me, Supervisor Howe has presented the application of Casey Hartzell.
Yes.
I think Casey, like myself, doesn't have a good job at writing down their self-promotion. Personally, I had a hard time writing a resume. I'd never written one before, and I don't know how to claim those credits. I don't do campaign propaganda, so I don't keep a list.
well.
Casey did the same thing. She missed a lot of stuff that she contributes to this town. Number 1, she hosts the Yellow Pantry right in front of Countryside Manor and takes care of that and monitors that and deals with the naughty children. Catches parents walking by that she knows, like certain foods. We got a lot of that, grab it, That, and Casey's, I don't know how many generations, maybe 3 here. She's very vested in the community. Single working mom, so she doesn't belong to a lot of clubs, doesn't have a lot of those accreditations that people brag about. I support her 100% being appointed to this commission. She will do a good job. And does anybody have any questions for me about Casey's application?
I got one. Chris sent a email out that he wanted to leave. Is he the one?
Chris is done.
Yes.
Chris is done.
Chris is done.
Yeah.
Correct.
He-
So he's the one we're replacing?
Yeah, he
Yes.
has expired, but he was a holdover.
What about Judy White? Or not?
Terry Wood.
Terry Wood.
Terry Wood thought she was a holdover, and she would have been done tonight also, because we do have a second application that came in later. Apparently, she was reappointed, and she thought she was a holdover, but she was actually reappointed
Till 26.
till 26.
Okay.
So it's gonna be up to her, even though when I was hired, I had 2 people going out the door ASAP. She's still on. But Marie does have a second
Yeah.
applicant ready to be presented anytime we do have a vacancy.
Well,
So
that's
she-
why
she-
I had 2, and that's why you got a handout for Terrence.
Yeah.
Was because all along I've been told 2.
Right.
And that's what's on
That was a
our-
website error.
Yeah.
Or not
Says
error, but
2.
whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Nope, that's
Yeah.
what I have to understand, so.
Yeah, so, Murray's recommending Casey, I support her. You do have another gentleman that would, in line for the next opening. And if we may have a 3rd opening and
Correct.
continue to work with Marie.
That's correct.
And if anybody knows anybody who's got a lot of experience in accounting, please send them our way. I could use an awesome treasurer. I'm looking forward to this board holding me accountable, which will help me enforce the rules, so that if, say, for instance, somebody who's been a lifelong troublemaker in there has never been evicted, and now the board tells me, they gotta go, it's not my fault anymore, is what I'm looking forward to. Thank you.
All right, so is that understood that Casey is looking at Chris Schultz's position because Chris never had been reappointed, to the best of my knowledge. But that doesn't mean anything, according to what our sheet, this one is for 23. March of 23 was the last one that I had. So I don't know if there's another one. Is there another one?
Terry has indicated to me via conversation that she's ready to be replaced.
Oh, well, then, we'll,
I don't believe so, but that's all I'm saying, is that she's indicated to me that she's interested in being
she's
replaced.
been indicating that for a couple of years, but that's okay. As long, did you mention to her that she needs to have a letter of resignation?
I did not.
Okay.
From the conversation that I understood, I felt like she had spoken to you.
No.
I'm not trying to
Oh, no, I understand.
negatively say that. I'm just
No.
saying,
And I'm-
it seemed as though she had made it well understood that
Oh,
she
she
was
always has.
ready to go.
She's always,
That's what I was told.
Yes.
It didn't happen either.
Okay,
So, yeah, but the two people being on there has been on there for a long time. who's,
Okay.
you know,
yeah.
okay.
So we'll take
That's just an error.
We'll take Casey first. Casey Hartsuff. So is there a motion?
I move we put Casey Hartsuff on the committee.
Do we have a
Housing
second?
Commission.
Second it.
Do you want to include a end date?
Oh, all right.
No, that's a separate.
Huh? No,
Term
we can
That's-
do it.
December.
These-
Which will expire on December 31st, 2027,
27, that's correct.
and take the place of Chris Schultz.
Good man. Got that? Okay. Otherwise, so I will repeat it. Casey Hartsuff is going to be taking the place of Chris Schultz, and her term will end December 31 of 2027. Okay? All right, that's what we're voting on. So we have a motion and we have a second.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Tunes Bliss?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, the next one, this one's going to be a little tricky. Terry has been saying for quite a while, Ms. Woods has been saying for quite a while that she was not going to do, so I submitted the second request. So I guess what I'm looking for is accepting this application pending her letter of resignation.
So should we
I
just
don't
wait
think
to
you can
vote
do
on it?
that.
Pardon?
I don't think you can do that.
Why not?
I think
She
we
might
just
not
wait.
ever,
No, she might not, and he may never,
and she might come in tomorrow.
that's correct. That's
But I
correct.
don't
So it
think
has
we-
to
we
depend.
don't-
So I say
We
bring it
don't
back.
go ahead and put somebody on in case somebody, unless you want a backup. And we never have had one over there.
No, I mean, what's backup? Backup for what?
Like the committee for the appraisal.
Pardon?
Your housing and property,
Oh, Joe or Al, are you saying like an alternate?
like an alternate.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think we've ever had an alternate. So what you're actually saying is, what you would like to see is for this to be put on hold?
Yeah.
Until, okay, does that,
Tell us the position available.
well, we don't have but one meeting in July.
Yeah.
That was the only reason for the two. Okay, so we're looking at July 17th.
Yeah.
If she, okay,
If she resigns.
and there has to be a letter of resignation, which she's pretty much aware of that. She's been around a long time, she knows. Okay. So do we make a motion then? Which needs to be, well, you have to have a motion to hold this one. You can't just hold it,
You can just hold it.
you know. I don't think so. I think you have to have a motion to hold it.
It's not even on the agenda technically.
Yes, it is. I handed it out. So
But
it
that
is on the
doesn't
Yeah,
make
but
agenda.
it isn't on the agenda.
But it is, because it was handed out to be on the agenda.
But you didn't add it to the
But you didn't
agenda.
add it
Yes,
to
we
the-
did add it to the agenda.
You did not.
Okay,
The agenda.
we'll go ahead and just hold it off. Yes, Ryan. We'll hold it off until, I guess what we'll hold off
you
is
get a
until we get a resignation letter from Ms. Wood.
Or anybody on that committee.
Okay. Is there any other questions? It says status of committee and commissions. Okay. I guess that comes from you.
That was just an FYI for everyone,
Oh, okay.
with the correction, I guess, for the mistake of having two under the housing commission. I'm so sorry. Having two under the housing commission, and it should have only been one.
One, okay.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, got that one straightened out. Okay. That's an FYI. Okay, item 12 is the Township Committee reports, the Michigan Spark Grant application. Yes, Adam?
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Montry here on behalf of the Recreation Advisory Committee to ask for the opportunity to submit an application for the Spark Grant through the Michigan DNR. You should have in your packet the grant application form that the township requires with each of the questions answered. So just a quick, brief overview, and then happy to take any questions. So grants are due next Monday. The committee and myself are happy to work with Taylor to make sure it's submitted by that time, that everything's completed as needed. We're requesting projects, or $167,000 and change for projects related to the pour in place at Wiswasser Park, which is around 2 years overdue from needing replacement, which is the foamy stuff that goes down on the bottom underneath the playground, if you don't know what the pour in place is. And then also a kayak launch to be installed at the, for Park Lake as well. So these grants are, amounts requested are between 100 and 100K and $1 million. They funded 14.2 million over 21 projects in the first round, and in the second round here, they are funding, I believe it's 26 or so, 23. And this will be the last round of these funding projects. And then there's another 27.5 million that are only eligible for 39 opportunity areas or townships or regions that they were already decided before the request for proposals came out. And we are not one of those. So, so I'm happy to answer any questions related to this and go from there.
There's no matching funds, is that?
No matching funds are required, and there's no additional points given for anyone who includes matching funds in their application.
Okay.
They're very clear about that they're not looking for matching funds and don't want to know if you have them or not.
Okay.
Yep.
Where it says your management, it says how does this project relate to township plans, goals, and priorities? Do we have those plans, goals, and priorities? Was that in your application?
So,
Or this is the this is the application form.
yes.
Okay. So this
Yeah,
continues.
so it continues to add the amenities and develop
Right.
the improve the Park Lake corridor while simultaneously addressing much needed replacement of the playground pour in place.
So the Park Lake corridor is what to you?
So I would say would run from, we could say from the intersection there by Webster and Park Lake.
That is a
all the
sticky
way
one,
down
isn't it?
and
Okay.
through, I think we could say to State Road or past it. So for the focus of this, since it's through DNR, they are looking specifically, they have a scoring criteria of 6 top things, and they're looking
Okay.
specifically for recreation, obviously, with it being through the DNR. And so, with that focus on the Wiswasser Park, and then also with the boat launch area directly across.
Okay. And this is from the Recreational Advisory Committee?
Correct.
Correct? Okay. And so your goals, plans, and priorities are the amenities and development to improve that Park Lake.
Correct.
So does that also include, what do we do with the traffic walk?
So that would have
Help me out,
nothing to
Judy.
do with this project.
No,
But
that's okay.
That's not
This is just
in
for
the purview
Wiswasser.
of this project, so.
Okay, but it goes from, it goes from, you turn left, there on Park Lake, going all the way around to State Road or more. So it's not just the park.
For the purposes of this project, the DNR is interested in improving and maintaining park
Okay.
facilities that add to the recreation capacities of a township or governmental entity. So because of where the funding is focused, those are the projects that it would focus on. We're not gonna submit something to the DNR that's based on recreation that has to do with a crosswalk. It's just not,
That's kind of
there.
what I
It's
was,
not the purview of,
because there's a lot of other stuff going on in that area that you're talking about.
Correct.
But your focus, even though the grant's asking for additional information, your focus is Wiswasser Park.
focus for this project is the pour-in-place at Wiswasser Park
Right,
and
okay.
a kayak launch for Park Lake.
Across the, okay, got it. I just wasn't sure.
Both of those
when I-
informed by DPW, and we aren't just coming up with
Oh, no.
this. So,
Oh,
the
I'm
projects that have been put
sure
in, and
that's
through other
true.
committees as well.
Okay.
You know, it's things that we continue to hear come up, so.
So you're asking for this 167,460 for the grant dollar.
We're not, we're asking this board, the board,
Right.
for the opportunity to submit this
Correct.
proposal, which the
But
proposal
that's
would
what
be.
you're asking for.
That's the funding
Yeah.
that we would ask for
Okay.
from the DNR as part of the SPARK grant, correct?
With no matching. So what if DNR only gives you a portion of it?
That's not how it works for this project.
Okay. So it's everything or nothing?
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a highly competitive grant, you know, the
Yeah,
SPARK grants
it's-
are a highly competitive grant process, so. You know, we are putting a good proposal, if allowed to by the board, we are going to put in a strong proposal, and then it's up to the, you know, the committee to decide what they decide to fund.
Will you be able to have this done by the 26th?
That's like a lifetime in grant writing world.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my
It
gosh,
is.
6
That's-
days
that's
away, that's.
Exactly what I,
With a weekend in
I'm
there too, my goodness, like.
looking at
it's-
that, and you're talking weekends.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not, the timeline is not a problem, and it's, yes.
All right, so all, what you're looking from this board is just an okay to do this by the 26th of June.
Right. And that's later on in the agenda. I think it's under 14,
I think
big
it
B,
is.
little a, is, or item for action, so. And Taylor's gonna be here to do that. I have to run and move some irrigation on some lettuce that's not gonna be very happy with me if I don't get it watered.
Oh, this is the Spark grant. I'm sorry, items for action, gotcha. Okay, so we don't need to do anything at this point?
Not there, no, the item for action is later. It was more just, that you had had the grant application form that's required as part of the process if any committees want to
Gotcha.
apply. And then just to answer any questions related to that or to the project in general.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Take care of your lettuce.
All right, yeah. Thanks, Al.
All right, Adam, thank you ever so much. We're on 13 now, unfinished business. It says items for introduction, Township Office for the Supervisor. I did say superintendent, so I know it's supervisor. I don't know what I'm supposed to, what is that? Oh, I see what you've done. Okay. Okay, now I gotcha. All right. That apparently is me. In the packet, there was a listing for the supervisors for Clinton County. What was stated earlier was that supervisors, apparently, there's a lot of them who have no office. So what I did was contact all of, or at least I tried to contact all of our townships. There are 16 in Clinton County. And the handout that was in your packet, so I don't know if you have it or not, states, obviously, we're first because we're Bath. It says that was mandated for the supervisor to work at home and the repurposing of the office. Then it went into the remainder of your townships that were there. what I ran into, which was kind of interesting, it is true to a degree, a partial truth, that most of our supervisors do not work in an office, okay? However, the other side of that, or additional information, is there's reasons why, which you have those in the packet. So has anybody's got any question? Oh, maybe I should state, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of our supervisors who do have offices in their townships. And they're different levels. In other words, Olive Township, for example, they all work from home except in elections. They have the Board of Review and the meetings, okay? That's one of your supervisors that does it. Ovid Township, on the other hand, has his office. It's a very large office with a conference room, and it's because he has meetings. Because I asked, why would you have an office with large conference table? And that's the reason, is because meetings are held in his office, basically. So if there are any questions that anybody has on that. I don't know if anybody, is there any questions? Hey, Jack, I didn't see you come in. It's nice seeing you in that corner over there. Okay, so all this is then, from what I'm looking of where she put it, was unfinished business items for introduction. So if there are no questions, we will move to the synopsis of Board of Trustees, because we moved the deputy supervisor position.
Okay, I'm just going to give a review on what
we
is
have?
supposed to be in the synopsis. I handed out the May 15th synopsis that I would submit to the
Synopsis?
newspaper. That I would submit to the
You
newspaper.
and I have talked about that.
So you know what our examples are. I don't know if you've seen one in the newspaper. I've also handed out some examples that Marie grabbed from the
Right.
newspaper. Okay.
I cut those out.
Pardon?
So what are we looking at? Unfinished business?
We're just, it's discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, just discussion.
Yep, introduction, discussion.
So the definition of a synopsis is a brief summary or statement. Marie is asking to put more information in this.
Yes,
That's what you're asking? Okay, so she gave me some examples. One is from Williamson Township and one is from Vevay Township.
all in Ingham County.
To me, they're pretty much the same, except in the Meridian, or Williamson Township, it does have at the bottom of it, the next regular board meeting will be at, and it tells the time and the location and the, date. We post synopsis in the Sunday version of the Lansing State Journal. We put the minutes in on the township website along with the meeting video. If requested, we could mail a copy of either the synopsis or the minutes. Clerks are required to put the approved items in the synopsis. I do also put the non-approved items in there if this voted on. So anything that is voted in the meetings, I put them in the newspaper. Okay?
No. Okay.
Did I say that wrong?
No, yes, you
You did
did.
it right.
But no, she didn't, because, okay, go ahead, finish what you're doing.
Basically, that's it. I don't know.
Okay. The reason for me asking for the synopsis to be more detailed is for transparency. I don't think people who don't read the minutes. Oh. I wondered, I was going to say, is there something?
Is your mic on?
Yeah,
This
like-
works. This doesn't work. This works. Okay. All right, ladies. If you want to have the talking, it'll have to be outside.
I apologize, I'm not trying to be rude, but
Nope.
I
I wasn't.
You guys talking, right?
Okay, the reason for my request from the clerk, which has been many times, is for more transparency with Bath Township. For the simple reason that people, when they read a synopsis, if they read them, which I do, all it's telling you is what's been approved. It doesn't tell you what was discussed. Not everybody goes to the computer to view the live chat or the live boards. So your synopsis many times is the only purpose that people actually will look at. I'm the odd one that cuts them out and keeps them. I've done that forever. That goes back to legislative days when you cut things out of papers. But anyway, having said that, that was my purpose, was so that there would be in the synopsis a little more transparency about what the board did, not just anything that we approved. It's what maybe we didn't prove, or we had a discussion on, or, you know, whatever, so that people would get a broader view of what it is that you're looking at. Granted, you do put the minutes on the website, and I get that, but not everybody goes to a website. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
They're also 8 days, so the following Thursday, like after tonight's meeting, next Thursday, the draft minutes will be on the counter. If somebody calls me and wants me to email them or mail them, I'm more than happy to do that.
Oh,
I don't have a
no, I
problem.
understand that, but it's still not telling them all that took place. You mean you're talking about the minutes?
The synopsis.
So the synopsis is just what we approved, not what we did. Okay. And I've been,
It's an action of the board.
right.
They're all
And that
actions
is
of
an
the
action
board.
of this board, and we know where this board is, so whatever. So I guess we have to, this is an information discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any other questions that anybody would have?
I do want to state that I went to an MTA conference last week,
Yeah.
and I talked to 2 or 3 other clerks. They've actually shortened it even more.
Yes.
They've actually basically just put something in the newspaper stating where you can find it.
It doesn't have
that's-
anything to do with cost, or it has everything to do with?
Well, they
their-
did it because it was getting so expensive to
Right, it's cost.
publish it in the
Okay.
newspaper.
Nope, I get it. Frankly, I don't care. Cost to me doesn't mean a whole lot when it comes to information for our residents to have. But anyway, that's the end of that discussion, if there isn't any other questions anybody might have. Okay. Thank you, Clerk, that's appreciated.
Thanks.
All right. Hang on. Your items for action, the deputy supervisor, I said that right that time. I produced and sent in a release for volunteers because we had talked about it 2 weeks ago with regards to a deputy supervisor. And one of the issues that came up, not from you, but from MTA, was regarding the insurance for your unemployment insurance and workers' comp and et cetera. The waiver that I put in this packet deals with taking care of that, that waives that responsibility. So I'm looking for a vote up or down with regards to the deputy supervisor. Any questions? Yes, go ahead, trustee.
I move that we do not bring on a deputy supervisor in the way that you have described it. Of course, you retain the power to appoint, as our attorney mentioned 2 weeks ago.
That's correct. And in my appointment, I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure I understand it completely, but yes, I do have the authority to do that, and I am exercising that authority. But I'm exercising it from the standpoint of no cost to this township. Okay.
I'll second it.
Oh, you're seconding his, all right,
His motion.
that you would not, but that's a yes or no, you voted up or down.
On
So
this,
I
you
think
vote
he's
yes
saying, I think he's saying the same thing,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So Brian Bliss, trustee, is making the motion that the supervisor cannot, which is a no vote for this, would not be able to appoint a deputy supervisor.
As you've described it here. You still
How-
retain your own ability to appoint within the scope that the attorney laid out 2 weeks ago. I just
Why
want to
would
make it
that
sure.
impact?
What's the difference? I'm missing.
Yeah, I guess I am too.
Should we invite the attorney back to tell us
Sure.
again?
She knew it was coming. Do we get a drum roll or do you?
Good evening, members of the board. I will reiterate what we talked about last time, was that there are conceptually in municipal government, in particular here in townships, there are 3 forms of deputies that we've often talked about. And I know that, Madam Supervisor, you took issue with my description of this last time,
Yeah.
but I will in fact restate it for
That's
this
okay.
record, because that is what I've been asked to do.
Yep.
The first type is what I would call sort of that stand in the shoes, the Clark Kent version, right? Where if the supervisor or the elected official of the clerk or the treasurer are not present and able to do their job, then the deputy is stepping in, and only in those circumstances stepping in. So they are not performing additional or supplemental duties, they are a replacement for the elected officials. The second form is kind of a middle ground space where you would have a deputy who has been appointed to do exactly what I just described, but maybe also is designated by the board to have additional duties or responsibilities in the township. That individual, for instance, again, I think last time I used the example of if you wanted to use me, pretending I wasn't your attorney, or pick my husband if you want, somebody else, right? Who is not an employee of the township at the time when appointed as the deputy, but then on request of the elected official who is the appointing individual, or on board request because there's maybe a need, that person would be asked to perform some additional duties that are not related to the deputy role entirely. So that could be supplemental in the clerical role of some kind. The third type that we typically see is, and usually in charter townships, is where we have township employees who also are appointed to be a deputy, and they fill a larger role. So they are designed to be supplemental to their elected official in a larger capacity. It's not sort of that one-off or handful of occasions that I described in the middle scenario. So when we are talking about the supervisor's authority to appoint a deputy supervisor, the statute certainly says that Madam Supervisor has the right to appoint a deputy to address when there's absence, illness, death, or I think those are the 3 categories.
That
so.
is the 3.
And so what we're talking about is the extent of the supervisor's authority, in my opinion, as a municipal practitioner, is if there is an absence, incapacity, or death of the supervisor, then the deputy has the right to step into that place. And we all discussed last time, there are still limitations even on that. For instance, the deputy supervisor can't chair the meeting and can't vote for the supervisor. I think we all understand that. I think I understand Trustee Fewens-Bliss's comments to be, if there is to be some idea that this appointed deputy supervisor that we're talking about, my husband as the
Right.
example, that I understand, I think, the motion to suggest that there is no additional responsibility or duties being approved at this time by this board. So it would really only mean that you are having a stand-in-the-shoes deputy, a Clark Kent deputy, as the case may be. Do I understand that correctly, Trustee Fewens-Bliss?
Yes, thank you.
Did I articulate that well, Madam Supervisor? I want to make sure I'm clear.
Well, yes and no.
All right, fire away.
No, my point, what I'm looking for is exactly what Trustee Bliss said. For a stand-in, for someone to come in and work my job for 10 hours a week with no cost to the township. So it's not like I'm asking for an employee, which I'm not, and it's not like I'm asking for anything, no employee, no nothing. There is no cost other than the stand-in. And since my office has been, repurposed, there is no office, which is, that's kind of this board's thing. So for me, when I'm looking at it, without a cost to the township, I'm not sure I'm understanding what the objection is.
I can't speak for your fellow members of your board, and I won't because I work for them, I am not them.
You're
But-
supposed to work for me, but you don't.
No, I work
That's
for the
okay.
board. My pointing was at the dais, Madam Supervisor. Please don't diminish my character in that way. That's not appropriate.
No, I didn't diminish your character at all.
This would be the second time that you've already indicated I gave a partial truth earlier, so I'm trying to stand in this space and be as respectful as possible. But my point is that I think the question would come from my perspective. If I were to be a member of this board and to have this opportunity to vote up or down, my question would be, how can we know that you will need 10 hours of absence when I think last time at the board, you mentioned that you were fulfilling your statutory duties. And I
Correct.
think that probably is the root of the question. Again, I can't speak for these individuals. I don't know. I have not had those
No.
conversations.
No, for the most part, yes, that's true. Let me give you an example, and maybe you
Please.
can, address that issue. I'm supposed to be signing vouchers. I voted no on the vouchers mainly because I haven't received the payroll voucher. So if I don't receive, because I've been copying those since 2020, so it's not as if that's something new, but I haven't received them. So therefore, I can't vote yes for the vouchers when I haven't seen them or know all of what they are. So in that example, for someone who's going to be here in my place would be able to look at that and say, yeah, that looks good, because that individual, male or female, would understand what I'm looking for and why I make copies of that. So that's only one small example. As for my duties, most of the time, yes, I'm getting my duties done, other than I'm not getting messages from my direct line. I am getting messages from my home phone being listed in our website, so that certainly helps. So no, there is no issue, I don't think, I don't know what other duties that I have at this time. So what I'm saying is, it's needed to have someone in the office to be able to do the things that aren't brought to my attention to do.
Okay, and
Okay.
what is the question that you would like?
There is
me
no
to
question,
answer?
it was an
Okay.
explanation of
Thank
what you had stated.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
Okay.
I wasn't leaving a question on the table. for
No,
you.
there was no question on the table. So what's being said, if I'm understanding, is that Trustee Bliss made a motion that this not be accepted as written, which I'm not sure I'm understanding completely, because there is no cost, and that's always been the issue, it's been cost. So I tried very hard to make sure that there was no cost to the township. And then when you define absence, mine is a mandated absence. Mine is not an illness absent. So that is pretty subjective.
I think we've already had this conversation two meetings ago. I think that is not the case, but
Well,
I understand your
that is-
argument.
Okay, good, because that is my argument.
I understand that we have a difference of opinion about that.
Yes, we do. So again, this is an action. Now you've made the motion, and does everybody understand?
I have a question.
Oh, trustee. No, treasurer.
I have a question.
I do that quite often.
So you're saying you're not getting copies of payroll. What are you not getting copies of?
Payroll.
Like, we've sent everything.
No, you haven't.
What payroll paper are you not getting?
I'm not getting the voucher of what you sent out for payroll. I'm getting my signature that needs to be there, but not,
Okay, so
The
the
listing.
other option is you were told you could come in and view these items
Yep,
before the board meeting.
I sure did.
Because Sherry just did it today.
Yep, without reading them.
No,
And
she
so-
went through and
Did you?
copied stuff.
Okay, well, good.
So why don't you come in early to do that?
Because you send it to me every Friday. I get my little package every other Friday.
Well, if we miss
And
something,
you did miss, you missed the second time.
well,
So, hey, I'm just telling you.
so you want the paper that shows every individual that's getting paid and what their payroll dollar amount is?
Yes, that's what I always get.
Okay, I guess I didn't realize they were sending that. Because I have never sent
It's right
it,
there to see with the vouchers.
because I've never sent that.
Well, I can't help that.
Okay, I just.
Are you the
think
one
were-
that does it? So,
Yeah.
Okay. Then now you know.
Well, that's why I'm asking, yeah.
And it's always been, I've been in this
Yep.
situation since what, March?
Well, I've been here since February and I've never sent them.
Who sends them?
That's what I want to know. You're saying it's just
I
happening,
don't know who sends
because
it.
I've never
It's
copied
always
the
in
payroll
my-
one for you.
It's always in my packet, and it's always been there, but it hasn't been there, so,
Okay.
good.
Well, I just,
Any other-
I'm,
no,
yeah.
just
Have you
learning.
checked your emails yet?
I knew it would come to that. No, I have not.
Okay. I'm asking.
You don't email me vouchers.
No,
You
but-
never have done that.
No, but I'm just
Okay,
asking
I'm
if you've
just-
checked your emails that we've sent out
What's
lately.
that got with vouchers that you never
No,
copy?
you're,
Okay,
I'm
all
just
right,
asking
no, I'm-
questions.
yes, you
This
are.
is the time to ask them.
That's appreciated. All right, so we're going to vote on it. We've got a second? Yep.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
No.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
No.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. Now I'm understanding, since that vote, that there is no deputy superintendent, correct?
Supervisor.
Did I say superintendent again?
Yep.
Somebody's going to have to slap me twist-legged for that one. Supervisor. So that's saying, am I correct on that? That there is no deputy supervisor? That you voted no? Is that correct? Okay. All right, that's what I needed. All right, page, no, the next one is items for action, the acceptance of the financial audit report for year ending December 31 of '22. The superintendent,
Based on the presentation, I'm sorry, I keep doing that. Based on the presentation of Stephen Breyer of Siegfried Crandall tonight, I'm asking for the acceptance of the financial statements ending December 31st, 2022.
yes, trustee Bliss.
I'll move to accept or to receive, I think is what we do, right? The audit
Yes.
as provided to us, with extra thanks to the staff for their great work in having a clean audit again.
Second.
That's part of the motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm understanding the motion, just so everybody is clear on it, what we're going to be voting on is the acceptance of the financial report in addition to the work that was done.
I'm just congratulating them, Marie.
I understand that, but that's not part of the motion. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the motion includes that.
I'm saying with the congratulations that they have done such great work
Yes,
to come up with a clean audit.
correct, that's part of the motion. No?
I don't know what you don't understand, I'm sorry.
The motion is that we're accepting the financial audit report with congratulations to the staff for doing a good job.
You heard it right,
That's the
Madam
motion.
Supervisor.
That's the motion.
Did everyone get that? You guys? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Quit heckling from the stands, we can't hear up here.
Stop bullying from the pulpit.
All right, we have a second, so now we'll vote.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
That is the strangest resolution. That's the strangest. Of course, yes. That shouldn't
Ms.
be a
Wilson?
question.
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Yes.
Don't
Mr.
understand.
Rosecrans?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I may, I didn't hear the first vote. I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't hear you vote.
I voted yes.
Thank you. I just didn't hear you.
Oh,
Thank you.
let's keep track. Okay, items for action, small b. It looks like the fire, this would be page 3. For those that are keeping track, we're still on 13, large B. And now we're going to the Michigan Fire Grant for the use of ARPA funds. Okay? Is our assistance not here?
He's
don't
not here.
see him.
He's absent tonight.
Okay.
Based on his prior, and I'm sorry, I had to find it in my packet. Based on his prior presentation to this board and the questions, he was asking for approval of the matter. And I'm really sorry, I'm out of order in my packet. Thank you. I appreciate it, trustee. Based on the presentation that he provided last time, it would be buying approximately 14 sets of turnout gear as cancer prevention, which includes a turnout coat, turnout pants, gloves, and a particulate filtering hood.
So we're allocating, I'm sorry, does anybody got any questions? I have a question. So we're allocating the dollars that the chief and the assistant chief are asking for ARPA funds?
They are, and
Okay.
in addition to the 10 grand through the Michigan Fire Equipment Grant, there would be a request for an additional amount not to exceed $60,000 of ARPA funding.
What would the 60,000 go for?
14 sets of turnout gear.
Okay. And that's with the ARPA funds? Okay. So when would that would be given upon a receipt, if the grant's accepted? Is that what we're saying? So we need to allocate 60,000 separate,
Correct.
so that we know that's not there anymore.
Correct.
Gotcha. Trustee Kellerman, are you ready to vote? Yep.
Is there a motion?
Good man, good person.
I make a motion, we accept this
Grant application.
grant application.
And the use of
Hang on.
So that's what we're going to vote on, is the grant application, which includes $10,000 for the grant, correct? And then 60,000 of our ARPA funds to cover the remainder.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Ms. Howe?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes.
So that's unanimous? Okay. Okay. And the next one, of course, is utilizing the senior center as a cooling center. It's Superintendent Hildebrand.
I'm happy to share the floor if you'd like to say anything.
Yeah, everybody spoke that what I intended, and I agree with those guys, and thank you. It's also social, it's already cooled. I think we need to, I believe we need to have perhaps monitoring the hours that people are being paid for there. And if they are being paid, they should put in the hours in the senior center, not at home. COVID is, restrictions are much lighter now than they used to be, and I think people should work in there or not be paid. And I think we should stay open 5 days a week, especially during the hot weather for the seniors. Have a place for them not only to be cool, but to socialize and have company. And then, thank you all for being clearer than I was.
I
So-
appreciate that as well. I
am somewhat confused because we do offer the senior center as a cooling center. And we try to watch for heat indexes and when we're particularly warned that the weather might be dangerous for seniors. We have done that in the past. So I'm not sure what's being asked that's different than what we've been doing.
Oh, so we're open 5 days a week. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. I thought we were
No,
still
we
3 days.
offer the center, if anyone is to call or to come to this building and tell us that they are in need of a cool place, we offer the senior center to them, and they are able to go in there for a cooling center.
I think it should be open 5 days a week, no matter what, but that's my opinion.
So I'm very confused, and I mean no disrespect. I don't understand if you want it open just in the summertime 5 days a week, or if you want it open.
I think we should head back toward 5 days a week permanently. It's there, it's being heated, it's being cooled. It's a social center. It's a place for people to meet, to play cards, do whatever they wish to do. And I would, if people are being paid to run it, they should be there to run it and open it. I don't understand the reason it's not. Perhaps somebody can explain that to me.
So I see Karen put on here that if we do that, there's going to have to be a budget amendment of almost $65,000. Because if you want it open full-time, you're gonna have to pay the employee, give her benefits and everything. So that's what you're proposing?
What does she do at home that we're paying her for?
I don't know. I'm just
I don't
asking
either.
you.
I'm asking that question too, because somebody's being paid hours to work at home.
Part-time
for the
hours.
same-
Yeah.
At
She's
home.
only part-time.
What does she do at home?
She's not always at home. She often shops for bingo, which is a program of the senior center. She does that in St. John's, I believe, 2 or 3 stores, but I don't know that it totals the complete hours. And the other times, she provides phone call returns and does research for programs and schedules programming.
And that needs to be done at home, or can it be open, have the doors open at the senior center at the same time?
It's difficult, and I would challenge, I think when the senior center is open and she's communicating and working with the seniors that are there on site, I don't know that she's accomplishing those things that are being asked of her. So I do think there are additional items that can be done when she's not in the center.
All right, we're
I got a
looking,
question.
oh, yes, trustee.
You want to go back to
Rosecrans.
5 days, are you talking about feeding people 5 days too?
That's a
Are
separate
you-
subject, I think. I don't know. If there's a demand for it, yes. If there's not, then no. But opening the doors shouldn't be so expensive. We're already cooling it. We've got the electric bill.
But you want to pay somebody to be there full-time. So we have to pay her benefits, we'd have to
I
pay.
have a question with
I mean-
that. I understand that Jenna is an employee, part-time employee, I get that. But what I'm not understanding is from this 26 hours that she's working for the senior center, wouldn't she find volunteers that would come and open it to do, so she wouldn't have to, I mean, the numbers
So
here
you want to
really
just give
don't.
anybody a key to get into the building?
Anybody has a key that can get in here. I mean, she's an employee, but you do that for your committees. Your committee chairs have keys. Some of them have, that they give to somebody else to have it. So the key thing isn't
I
a
don't-
big
I
deal.
just-
The key thing's not a big deal.
But we don't
what
know
I-
who would be coming and going over there.
If she was in there, she
Is
could
that
have
a-
volunteers to
I
help
would
her.
think it would be important,
Okay, so you have a sign-in sheet
you know.
that says somebody's there, and Dana, for example, I'm gonna pick on you because you're sitting there. Dana, for example, would volunteer to say, I'll come on Thursday and Wednesday, or Thursday and Tuesday,
Or Jenna can be relieved and
Or-
she can do her work in the office and.
whatever,
she
because
can
Jenna
be in
will
there.
already be there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I guess I'm questioning that with this. Frankly, I don't get these numbers. I think that's, when it says she works 26 hours, It doesn't say where she works. It just says she works at an approximate cost of $22,000, so we really don't know for sure, with minimum benefits. So she can still do that, but the senior center can take its own people and work it as the cooling center. I'm not sure about the warming center. That may come. That may be something, but this you're talking about a whole year's worth of, I think when you're talking about 35,000 for a full-time, it doesn't have to be full-time. That's why you have the seniors that you have, and the advisory board is very active. So I'm not real sure that they couldn't fill that, knowing that that's a cooling center for seniors. And I understand the piece where it talks about the public libraries, et cetera, and that's for everybody. That's for anybody who wants to come to the library. That's what we pay our millage for. So anybody can be there. But our senior center is just for our seniors, period. It's not, and should they be separated?
But actually, if you do a cooling center, it's for everybody.
No.
'Cause
not-
that's what she
well,
had asked at
it's
the last
utilizing the
meeting.
senior center as a cooling center.
Correct, so it's not just for the seniors if you label it as a cooling center.
So what you're saying is anybody could come.
That's what I take it as.
Well,
Because you
then-
wanted a cooling center.
Or don't label it, just call it a senior center and have it open and it's cool.
Well, it's open on Tuesdays and Thursdays because it's rented. It's rented in the afternoons already.
Afternoons.
So it's already open.
Well, it's rented.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
So,
whole-
so it's already there. What's the question then?
The whole senior center's rented, so it can't be used for,
No, they can go in there and set, they can go in there and play cards. or
they can
whatever
still go
want.
in there if it's
Yeah.
rented?
Well,
It's,
that's,
it's been running for a program, it's a card program.
Right,
okay. So it's already
Yes,
open.
I'm already saying it, yes, people
Oh.
can go in there.
but like when it's rented out to AA or something.
No,
it's
cannot.
not
nobody else-
open.
then nobody else can
Right,
go, it's
and
that's a
that's-
private event.
When is it private? When is that? I just don't know. When is it?
It's my understanding that the two programs that are being incurred right now, which would be Euchre and Texas Hold'em, are private events.
Well, and the AA is too.
Correct.
Euchre's a private event? Okay,
It's leased, it's rented by a private
right.
citizen.
I
So
understand.
whoever they,
That's not my
whoever they
thing
want
either.
to go in there, that's up to them. It is
Yeah.
their event. It's not up to us to say that you open
So-
it to anybody.
Really? I mean, I'm
It's a
shocked.
private event. They have paid a deposit
Deposit,
to
I
use
get that.
the event
I get that.
center
That's our
on those
seniors.
days.
They pay for it.
Because we
Correct, and
can't
that's private.
gamble, is what we said.
Correct.
So now we have
Private
these
citizens who have
So
rented it.
Do they go in there, others?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure that's,
That is up to who rented it for those days on who they are having come in. We can't,
so if they open it themselves as a cooling center, it's okay.
that's up to who rented it for those hours. Because they have paid a deposit for that time in that building.
No, I get it. I've never agreed with that, but that's okay.
Well, it's just like
I
renting the
know.
BCC. You pay a deposit, you rent it for the day.
Okay.
It's yours for the
That's-
day.
That's another discussion. But, okay, so what you're saying is because Euchre and Texas Hold'em, it cannot be open to the general citizens, the seniors, to come in as a cooling center.
Because it's rented to a private citizen.
And also the
But it's a
same
senior,
goes with
it's a
AA.
private citizen.
Correct.
They-
Yeah.
How many hours in what
Okay, I'm
sort
not
of
seeing
proportion
that.
during the week is that rented out now? Do you have any?
It's every day. I mean,
Every
it's
day,
rented
just
almost
part.
every evening.
One to five,
Evening.
and then
I
there
mean,
are,
the cards are Tuesday, Thursday, like noon to 5 or something, noon to 4, I don't know, 1 to 5.
AA has it, I believe, in the evening on Tuesday afternoons.
Yeah,
You
we-
have tops, you have.
And then you have another, yes, other
And then
organizations
you
that are
have, you know,
utilizing it.
your 4-H people who rent it. You
But you're
have-
not looking at it for an evening, are you? I mean, let me understand. The cooling center would go like from 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon,
The hottest part of the day is late afternoon.
right?
And that's when it's rented by the
Rented
cards
already.
people.
But they would have that cooling center until 5 o'clock.
It's rented by the ladies that rent.
In the evening,
They're there.
in the evening.
No.
No,
No,
in the
one-
afternoon.
It's like,
1 to 4.
One to
like
four.
1 to
Four,
5,
five.
1 to 4 or something, noon to 4, I don't even know.
And that takes up the whole, they rent the whole center.
Yes.
So
There's really only one.
what,
No, they rent just one section of it.
okay,
There
Really
is only one
I mean,
section.
rent the
they're in
side.
the main
But
area.
somebody-
They don't have access to the
Somebody
kitchen.
could go in there and sit
the
if it
Right,
was hot.
but there's only
Yeah.
one.
No
But there's only
problem
one
with that.
section.
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to work through, because I don't understand, frankly, the numbers
That makes
here.
sense.
But it should be a cooling center, and they should be allowed, regardless of who rents a section of it.
But it's all one, it's one place. It's, that's,
It's an open
yeah,
floor
it's an
plan.
open, you can't really have like an AA meeting and then say, oh,
No,
by
I'm
the
not
way.
talking AA, I'm talking
Well, that's a
cards
part of one of the groups that's in there.
in the evening.
In
Is
the
AA
afternoon.
during the day?
Afternoon during the day.
AA's in the evening. Card
That's what I
programs are
thought.
during the
Yes.
day.
Yeah, that's what I thought. AAA is in the evening.
Correct.
And the cards
Or in the
are
afternoon.
in the afternoon. So what's being said is whatever rental fee we charge to them, they are renting the whole building.
Correct.
Right, because there's only one room, really.
Correct.
But that's not what you're saying. Trustee
They
Rosecrans
use
is
2 or 3
saying,
tables is all.
okay,
So there is room, like on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, when they play, if they want to play hand and foot, and they want to play euchre for, or anything else they want to, cribbage they used to play,
in the afternoon,
In the afternoon.
after their meals.
yeah.
So
It's a
we're
lot of times
looking at,
before.
But they've really rented the whole facility, essentially.
Tuesdays,
as
on
a state-
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
so we're looking at, oh, they rent on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mm-hmm. The opposite days that meals are served.
Okay. I still don't see why that's not. it- That makes more sense to me than this does. This, numbers don't make sense to me. And as for opening it up, if it becomes extreme, because it's saying long periods of time, 2 to 3 days of high heat and humidity with temperatures of 90 degrees. So in order for you to open that, even though they've rented it, would you still open that on those days? In other words, if they're renting it, see, this is where my mind goes. If they're renting it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they rent it from 1 to 4, and you have extreme heat,
I would welcome them to come in here and sit.
oh, I see.
I don't have additional
rent it.
space. It's
Yeah,
it's
you
been
rented
rented
the
out,
building.
so.
That's your contract. So you can't, as it is now with one room, if you had 2 separate rooms that were completely separated, you could do that, but you can't now because there's only one room. Makes sense. I get it.
Unless that group, these groups for the Texas Hold'em, and what's the other one?
Euchre.
Euchre. If they agree to the fact that they've rented it, but they want it as a cooling center. So is that a workable agreement or not?
I can approach them and ask them that.
It's their choice, yeah.
Yeah, you and I are
I
going,
mean-
okay.
I don't go out and play euchre anymore because I'm working, but, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't allow people to come in there and sit.
Well, according to what's being said, they cannot allow them in.
Well, you can always
With their
ask them, I'm
permission.
sure.
Okay, so this is an item for action. What is it that you want to do with it? You want to vote it up or vote it down?
I think you should talk to them first before you, vote it up or
So-
down.
What you're saying, this one, for utilizing them as a cooling center, is it July 17th is our only meeting?
Well, it's
So-
always open if it's hot. It's been that way for years.
So if somebody
I
was,
mean, it isn't,
Somebody was to
no,
stop
if
in here and
somebody
say
was
something.
there and they wanted to stay till 5 or 6 o'clock, say 5 o'clock. I'm not going to complicate it. We'll say 5 o'clock. Nobody's going to kick them out?
usually they just tell us to have we let the police know and they will lock it up when we get done. That's what they used to do.
That was after card playing here.
Yeah,
For the center.
yeah.
Okay, so they can still go the cooling center, regardless of who's there, whether they're rented or not rented. Do I
That's what she was gonna
understand?
ask them.
If it's rented, we can't say you can go in there because it is rented. They have signed a contract.
Okay, no, so what do you want to do with this one?
I think,
I always like to open it up to public hearings, so. Podium.
I think the concept is one of the drop-in center.
Okay.
You know, I think when you keep calling it a cooling center, you know, it has all these connotations. Last summer when it was hot and, you know, I talked to Karen about where could we go when if someone needs to cool off, where could they go? And Karen said the same thing, then go sit in the boardroom. Well, you know, at the senior center, we have a senior center. You know, we have games, we have activities, we have a television, we have coffee, we have lemonade. You know, if they want to cool off, they should be able to use this. I think that the conversation should be around the concept of a drop-in center where the seniors can go and socialize 5 days a week. I realize we have euchre on Thursday from 1 to 4 and that someone has rented the facility. If the facility was open, there would be no reason to rent it. They would just go in there and play euchre. And so I think that you're just making this into a much more difficult issue than it needs to be. And I say it over and over again, if there were some planning, you know, and you had a plan for the senior center, you know, expansion not just means the building, physical building, but expansion should include things like programs and services and collaboration and partnership. You know, if the center's open from 10 to 2, 3 days a week, so I think if I did the math right, that's about 12 hours a week, and we're paying someone 26 hours a week. That's a lot of hours that the center could be open with supervision, even paid supervision. I don't know that you're going to be able to come to a resolution tonight. I don't think the discussion has been healthy enough. I don't think you're talking about the right things to actually have this vote. I think you need to be clear about what it is you're expecting and what it is you're asking for and what it is you want. And I just feel that the cooling center, that you're hung up on that, and I see it more as a drop-in center where people can come in and be social, cool off if that's hot, warm up if it's cold, have a cup of coffee, read the paper, do a puzzle. We're very lucky that we have a senior center that's available to us, even 3 days a week. And how great to have the building there. And wouldn't it be awesome if it was a drop-in center and there were available 5 days a week? Just my 2 cents.
I agree with everything Judy just said, but I want to get back to something, being a previous board member and knowing how politics works, Cheryl, you're not savvy to how they do things, okay?
That's true.
You asked for, what did you ask for?
I probably used the word cooling center, but
You
I
mentioned the word
meant,
cooling center
mentioned
within
it.
everything else. So we went down, let's do this, let's turn it into a big $65,000 dramatic cooling center, which is not what you asked for.
No.
And that's how politics is played. And you've got 2 people here that were prepared. And I just strongly suggest that you be careful when you are asking for something that you don't get talked in a circle, because that's, I think, that's what's happened here. I don't think what you ask for is even being discussed.
Yeah.
You're asking the employee who is working how many hours at home? I mean, like, how many hours? is she-
12 in the center and 26 total paid.
There's more than 12 in the center.
Oh,
What are the
okay.
hours in the center? 10 to 2?
She works 5 hours on Monday, 5 hours on Wednesday, and approximately 7 hours on Friday. Sometimes 6, depending on what time bingo gets over.
I think that could be
So that's 17.
contradicted by people who attend there. Anyway, I don't care if there's 2 hours.
That's only 17. That doesn't,
So I think if the intention is to be a drop-in center, I think there does need to be a discussion about whether those other programs are allowed to continue in there, because they are preventing it from being used. And either staff or volunteers, I know we have fantastic volunteers. Staff or volunteers would have to keep it open during that time. There's not a game being played, but if you expect somebody to be
I
on
didn't never
site.
use the word game.
And I apologize, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to get to the heart of, it was cooling center, it was 5 days a week, there's been a lot of descriptors thrown out, so I just am trying to get to what is it that is wanted and how do we accomplish that?
Did you reach out to Trustee Kellerman before you put this elaborate plan together?
No,
Did
because
you
I thought I
ask her
understood.
what she actually wanted?
I thought I understood what she wanted. She wanted a cooling center 5 days a week.
Cheryl, did you ask for a cooling center 5 days a week?
I'm sure I used that word, intention
And
was
I-
not clear
And I
because
also
the social
offered
center.
her the floor to explain what it is that she wanted to get to because of the comments that were made
But
during public
You and
comment.
Jennifer were both talking at the same time while she's trying to think and talk. That's unfair to her.
I've been trying to sit.
It's unfair to her to
I've been
express
trying to sit
herself.
and listen to try to understand
But
what
when
it is
you're
that
not
wants.
talking, Jennifer was talking, and it was, it kind of looked rehearsed from out here. I'm not accusing you of anything, but it gave that appearance.
Okay. It's difficult to hear when you guys are talking in the audience too, so
That's something else. but
Okay.
yeah.
all right.
But the
Lee.
thing is, Cheryl, like a lot of other people, are requesting that Jenna work her hours in the senior center.
Okay.
The doors be open on Tuesday and Thursday.
Absolutely. And I like the drop-in center word. It's
You
it's
use
a
the
social
words. Yeah,
place.
You're new, you don't know the words. You know, you don't know. And when you use the word cooling center, this is what comes back.
Yeah,
And then it
you're right.
goes like this. So just be careful with what you ask for and how you ask for it, and be
Yeah.
prepared for this.
I'm learning.
Be prepared for what you just got.
Right, no, thank
All
you.
right, so this particular item, one, it'll be changed, this whole thing will be redone, I'm assuming, for the July meeting,
I would like that, yes.
instead of an item for action. The action is that this will be moved until July, okay,
17.
July 17th. Oh, sure.
I'm just thinking from a process perspective, it may be helpful to narrow in exactly
Yeah.
what is to be expected on July 17th.
Correct.
If the superintendent is being directed to explain the scope of services or work provided at the senior center, that's one thing. If she's being asked to put together what it would look like to have it open 5 days a week or what those options were, I would just think a little more direction could get you all what you need to make decisions on July the 17th.
Or I would welcome trustee Kellerman to provide what it is you're looking for, and we'll put that in the packet.
You guys can help me work with that? What the seniors need?
I can't hear you, Cheryl, I'm
I
sorry.
said, what your seniors would like, what would meet their needs, we can talk about it and bring it back. Because you guys work.
Which, if
with
it includes Tuesday and Thursday, would need to include the elimination of those programs in the afternoon.
No,
Or
not
open, not
necessarily.
necessarily
No,
they could be co-joined with an open center if they don't use every space in there, I don't know.
Okay.
We can ask them if that's a possibility.
well, we've got until July 17th
Right.
to
I'm being
kind of work
accused
it
of
out.
directing you, so I'm just
No,
gonna
no,
not.
don't, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Let's
All right,
talk
does
about
that
it.
sound reasonable? Okay. Trustee Friedman Bliss, does that sound reasonable to you?
Extremely.
Okay. And for
Let's do
you?
that.
Okay. Is that a reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we'll do then. Does that help with the process?
As long as everybody's consensus is the direction of the superintendent and trustee Kellerman understands her role, I just don't want you all to leave here thinking.
It's my understanding that I won't be providing anything. You would be providing what it
Well,
is.
you and I can talk.
You already
about
provided.
I would do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I want.
Okay.
No, she's already provided. You've already done your homework.
But that's for the cooling center.
For the
She
cooling
wants a
center.
drop-in center.
Well, that's
She wants to-
semantics.
Well, and she
Yeah.
wants to change it so
That's semantics.
she has to contact
So-
Tuesday and Thursday renters.
Right. No, I understand, but
ask 'em,
when
see
she
what they
says she's
say.
not doing anything, it's already done, so that's good. Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. Cheryl, when I asked you after you made the motion last week, or the discussion, I tried clarifying what you wanted, and you did say you wanted it for a cooling center.
My mistake is I
And I'm not
meant
pointing any
more.
fingers,
No,
I did
I
try
need
to
to be.
clarify that,
Yeah, okay,
so
my
that's
fault.
all.
I needed to say more of what my ideas were and sharing with these people over here that are with the seniors. What do they need? What do they want? What can we do better? It's all one bowl, not just a cooling center, because in September, it won't have to be open at all for a cooling center probably, or October.
October, I was going to say.
November, whatever.
There is no global warming,
But
so.
let's have a senior center be open for our seniors more. That's my purpose.
Okay.
Okay, I think everybody agrees then that that'll come back the 17th of July. Okay. We have an introduction and first reading of ordinance. I think Miles.
Right. Hello, everyone. This item was introduced at our last meeting and is now up for its first reading. So this will be the home business ordinance. This has been through the planning commission for a while. We've kind of thrown this one around. I also went through a legal review just to refresh everyone's memory. This is to build out the standards and procedures for evaluating a home-based business within the township. We've had a number of these kind of come up in the last couple of years, and there wasn't a clearly defined process or clearly defined what is a home business, very subjective term, so we've tried to build in some procedures to make that determination. That way we're clear and transparent with the public. And then, once that determination is made, what are the standards around that land use to help mitigate conflict with neighboring land uses? Are there any questions? Yeah,
I always have a question.
it's fine.
And this may not even apply to this, so please bear with me on this. Somebody used the term e-commerce with this to me. Would you explain what that is?
Yeah, e-commerce, so that would be, and it is addressed in here, that's when the point of sale happens online and not in person. There's
That's what I,
not
okay.
cash changing hands in person, the cash is changing hands via an app.
So the e-commerce is when I receive the money.
Someone might Venmo you the money, and you might deliver them the goods via FedEx. So there's less, that would be an example of when we would determine through our standards that creates a less intense land use on the parcel. E-commerce is less intense than in-person commerce.
So it doesn't have anything to do with a membership or a registration?
It
or
can.
anything?
It can, so like Adam, who's here tonight, he does some e-commerce on his parcel. He has boxes that you can subscribe to, and you get a monthly box of lettuce and whatnot.
So he's already done his e-commerce?
He does, but he also falls under agricultural clauses, which create local zoning.
Okay, so this
So
that's why it was asked.
agriculture is a bad example, and
Yeah.
Steve would yell at me if he was here.
Yes, sure, he can take his place.
Yeah, for sure, anytime.
So it falls under, for example, Candy, when she sells, that's the only one I know.
Sure, Candy.
I know there are others that do it. So the e-commerce, it's not a registration, but she still has to pay the township?
No,
Okay.
not
Okay.
in that case.
All right, give me a case where somebody has to pay.
So let's say somebody doesn't wanna, let's say somebody makes, chairs or furniture in their pole barn behind their house. And,
Okay.
because it's a larger item that doesn't ship easily, or shipping would be exorbitantly expensive and add undue cost to the item, it forces the commerce to happen on site. So that'd be a good example of a business,
okay.
home business that wouldn't easily move to an e-commerce platform.
I had a lumber business, that would be a good example.
Sure.
So if you have, all right, so if you have the lumber business, the e-commerce doesn't fall under the lumber, or
It
it
might
does?
not neatly work
She'd
for
have to
that.
pay, how much would she have to pay for her lumber, for the e-commerce?
There's no,
There's no,
we're just purely
Okay.
talking about land use, there's no like additional tax
Okay.
to their lumber business that we're trying to establish here.
so it's just anybody who sets a business up in their land is an e-commerce. They have to pay X amount of dollars.
Not just, not e-commerce. E-commerce really has nothing to do with it. That's just one
Okay.
factor of a business.
Unless you're ag, then you get out of everything, right?
Yeah, then you get
Yes.
out of it. There's quite a bit you can get out with that.
Sorry.
Don't
There's a
don't
lot
tell
of truth to
don't tell
that.
everyone that.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, no, that helps. So it doesn't necessarily, everyone has to pay this e-com, which was a little confusing to me, so
E-commerce is a factor that we use to help determine if we're talking about a home-based business or more of a home occupation.
oh, so there is a
One of-
registration fee.
One of many, there's no registration fee. We're
Then where
just,
does e-commerce come in?
I don't know where you're talking. It's one of our factors to help determine
Okay.
the business.
That's
Where do
what I'm
where do
asking.
we tax it? Where do,
There's no,
We don't.
we don't do any?
all we're trying to do is establish a permitting procedure
Permit.
for these land uses.
Okay.
So when somebody,
permanent-
so
permanent.
like Big B Coffee, they had to get that a license or a permit
Okay.
to establish that land use, because they were operating a commercial land use.
Right.
When a single-family home comes in, they get a zoning permit to establish that single-family home. Home businesses fall in a weird middle space, where it's not quite
It's not
a
a business,
single-family
yeah.
home, but it's not Big B Coffee either.
Right.
And prior to this ordinance,
Okay,
by the most liberal interpretation of our ordinance, we should treat them like a Big B Coffee. We thought that was undue burden. So we
Right.
wanted to establish some middle ground there, and that's what this ordinance has
that's
attempted
what
to
the
do.
e-commerce.
It's not
does.
super easy to do either, to establish a middle ground.
No, it's not. That's why I guess I'm asking. Thank you. I'm sorry, I knew that was not, well, it's part of what this is, but, okay. Now, you want us for action on this, correct?
Traffic is a big issue, is it not?
Traffic's one of the
And
number one things.
Yeah.
we
the
talk
number
about.
one thing, yeah.
Right.
And that's why we had some, development standards put in place, and traffic was, two of the standards address traffic. Traffic's also one of those things where it's hard to nail down the exact impact of traffic, but that's when we lean heavy on the planning commission, they're a body of experts, they review these things, you know, at this rate in Bath Township, almost every meeting we have some kind of development coming, so they're well-tooled to make that determination.
Explain one more time. I'm sorry if I'm taking, why it's removed for the, you have home business and home occupation.
Correct.
So occupation's been removed and home business is,
Occupation is still in the ordinance.
oh,
We
it's
didn't
still in the
touch- we
ordinance,
didn't
but
touch
it's removed
occupation at
from
all.
this ordinance.
Yep, because we
Okay.
didn't make any changes to
Is
it.
there a reason why that was done?
Well, by this ordinance, if you're not a home business, then you're by default a home occupation, and no more
Oh.
explanation needed.
And then it falls under whatever ordinance for home occupation.
It just falls under a home occupation, there are no standards for home occupation.
Oh, okay. Nope, I got it.
We don't see home occupation as an intense land use deserving of development standards.
Gotcha. Thank you. You're always so good at it. All right, is there any other questions? I'm still writing, but are we good? If that's what I figured you had one, that's why I'm asking. Trustee Friedwin Bliss.
I'll move introduction, first reading of ordinance number 31.84 for home businesses as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
No.
Yeah.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
I'm glad somebody else has questions with that. I'm gonna say no. It's too much of a change. No.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miles. Greatly appreciated. Okay. You're still standing there, so you're under new business. Good man. Don't go sit. All right. We're in 14, new business, items for introduction and discussion, special use permit.
All right. The special use permit being sought in front of the board tonight is by the applicant Josh Tyler, who's here tonight and can help me answer any questions that the board has.
That poor man.
This development would be for a commercial warehouse on Peacock Road. It's the northern section of Peacock Road, just south of old M78. The neighboring land uses also happen to be commercial land uses
Yeah.
to the north, because it is right there off old M78. He's seeking to establish a 5-bay warehouse. His business is landscaping and lawn care, and been operating in the greater Lansing area for some time now.
Since 2008.
Okay, so yeah, definitely some time now. So he came to the planning commission a while back, and as it goes in development, sometimes there were other agencies that he had to work through a little bit, worked through all that, and is now ready to come to the board of trustees.
Where is that? That's not off of Marsh Road. That's off of Old 78.
It's Peacock Road right off of old M78.
Okay,
So you'd be on old 78, head out of the township, you'll make a right onto Peacock Road.
on Peacock Road.
His parcels.
And just past Van Evans.
You really are out in the boonies.
Hey,
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 so
I'm
am I.
out there.
Hey, I can say that.
With Van Adas and, was it Landmark or Landshark?
Landmark.
Oh, yeah.
Landscaping right there, we felt like this was a good neighboring use.
Had you talked to the neighbors?
Yeah.
And
I went
they're,
around talking to everyone.
good.
Josh did an exceptional job of reaching out to everyone in his immediate vicinity on Peacock Road, even outside of our 300-foot required noticing limit, and getting buy-in from the neighbors, which we always appreciate. Personally makes my life a lot
Yep.
easier.
Good job. That's good to know where that's at, and that you've talked to people. Smart move.
All right, thank you so much.
Do you get to sit down now, Miles? Thank you. Okay. All right, we're still on new business, B, the Timber Ridge, and that was a FOIA, or the FOIA. That was a FYI, for information only, for those residents, which they received letters. I talked to the drain commissioner. They already received letters, but it was more or less to let everybody know that this is what's taking place. So that's all that was for. Okay, we are on 14, large B, as some would say, small a, Michigan Spark Grant application.
Yes, so Mr. Montry, presented, the information within the grant application. So we're just looking for approval to apply for that grant.
Who's gonna apply for it? Who's applying for the grant?
The Recreation Advisory Committee and
Okay,
with the help
That's the
of
one that-
me, yes.
and I should have asked Adam when he was here. Dollar amount?
It's listed in the application. I don't have it right in front of me. $167,456.
Okay. 160?
167,
Okay.
456.
And he also mentioned this is not a matching grant?
That's correct.
Okay. So it's all or nothing?
That's correct.
Okay. And our purpose is just to give them permission, so to speak, for the application?
Yes, per our
Okay.
grant policy, the board has to give approval in order
No,
to
I
apply for a
understand
grant.
that. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Is anyone going to make a motion? Trustee?
Move approval of the rec committee and township staff to apply for the Michigan Spark Grant as presented tonight.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're still in new business, 14, small b supplemental agreement, number 50 for the water service agreement, and that would be here. Okay, gotcha. And that's being discussed by the superintendent.
Thank you so much. The Board of Water and Light has received a request to extend water to the Ace Hardware Development located at 7410 East Saginaw Street. And I'm asking for this board to approve that supplemental agreement tonight to extend water service to the Ace Hardware at that previously mentioned location.
Oh, that's the one.
And if there's any questions I can answer, I'd be happy to do so.
Anybody else got a question? I have a question. All right, this is the one that's off Saginaw. Actually, it's Marsh and Saginaw.
Correct.
Correct? Has it been determined, I know that they're looking for this agreement. Is there anybody here? Miles stepped out, darn it. Has the driveway been determined? Because this is behind.
So they
Fast
have a
Eddie's.
driveway that goes out onto Saginaw that they'll share with Fast Eddie's.
I saw that, but that.
And then they'll
wasn't-
share a driveway as well with Monticello's.
That's what yes, see, that's what I was asking.
Correct.
So Monticello has been obviously contacted, and they've agreed to that.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
So-
my understanding.
Okay, so what we're saying, because I saw this, and obviously that was in the packet, there's an entrance off of Saginaw, so.
Correct.
That's after, so the traffic for that, you're gonna have your lights and et cetera. Where'd he go? Miles? I know, where did he? When you meet him, he leaves.
Yeah.
When you meet him.
I'm on the planning commission, I may be able to fill in some holes.
All right, do, because
What is your question?
my question is that the traffic, when you're on Saginaw and you have Marsh Road, so people are gonna be making a left into that,
No,
No,
they can't. They can't cross over the median.
that's,
there's
okay,
a-
so they have to go up and come back around.
If they're coming
make the right.
from the highway,
Correct.
I-69, yes, they would have to do the, as they call it, the Michigan
Yeah.
The
turnaround.
Michigan turnaround.
And go in. that
Otherwise, they're going to use Monticello's
Correct.
Off Marsh Road.
off Marsh Road to be able to access behind them. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
They
Okay.
applied for an additional special use permit to have a drive from Monticello's parking lot into the Ace Hardware.
Because it'll be
Midwest
behind.
Motorsports.
His
It-
property is literally behind,
Whose property?
Monticello's.
no, the.
Ace Hardware,
the
is
Ace
that,
Hardware.
they have to use the parking lot of Monticello's to get into the Ace Hardware, is
They do
that?
not,
No.
no, they do
You
not
can-
have to.
You can do the Michigan turnaround,
There's
It's an
another
additional.
This way?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
but people
No,
will
that's
use
the,
it.
that's the,
I would
Yeah, but
use
they can
that,
come
the
off.
Monticello off
no,
Marsh
no,
Road.
that's a water
That's-
main.
Right.
The orange
water-
Yeah.
is the water main.
The
That's
water
water.
main is what's in question here, and I believe,
Yeah.
we spoke to
I-
this, it's going to be, coming off, and Ryan, you can probably tell me if I'm incorrect, but as I understood it, it was going to tee off from where the, Lake Lansing, Surgical Center, Big B's
Across
is
the
right
road.
there, and go underneath the highway to
Oh.
Ace. That was what my understanding was. Ryan, is that correct? Did you hear it like that too?
I don't recall. I don't know that I was
I'm
at
almost
that
positive
meeting.
that's what they said, it would go underneath
So where's
Saginaw
Ace?
to Ace
It's going,
Hardware.
yeah, the building's
Right
already,
here.
built. The building's
Yeah,
like down
right there.
here.
That's-
They've already got it built.
Yes,
Yeah. So then,
I'm sorry. So I guess what I'm looking, and you're talking about the water, it's going under the highway, under Saginaw, in order to plug into them,
To the Ace Hardware, yes.
right? Why wouldn't they use Monticello?
That
Why-
I don't know. Monticello's may get their water from Meridian Township. Karen, you may know that. I don't know.
I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make sense to go under the highway, that's part of,
Well, that's,
The developer is the one that's contacted the Board of Water and Light and requested this.
yes.
oh, I know, but that still doesn't, so.
It's what the developer is asking for
Yeah?
Yeah.
So,
and what BWL has offered them.
Is this.
okay. And I'm still gonna say, so,
Yes.
what's that got to do with
I
what
think
we
she's
have to
saying
make
it's
a
not our job to
decision?
try to rework the plan, it's either to approve it or not approve it.
They figured it out to be the best way to go for whatever reason.
I'm sure they have.
It was because
Okay.
it was a direct route off the main,
No,
where the Lake Lansing Surgical Center is, that is already tapped into the main.
Right.
Al, did you have a question? Excuse me.
Yeah, was there, when you guys give them a permit to go into Monticello's,
That was before my
Was
time,
there-
so.
huh?
I said that was before my time, so
Yeah.
I'm not,
Was there any discussion about putting a light there to get out of Monticello's? Because that is a terrible place to get out.
well, that would be, Ingham County, I think, so.
No, that's Bath
Oh,
Township.
is it?
It's Bath
Is it? Okay.
Township.
So
Road
that would be
Commission
Bath
has
County. That would
weighed
be
in
the
on the
Road Commission.
project.
Yeah,
So I'm not familiar with that at all. We've only spoken of the light that's at the Meyer exit.
The road commission was offered the ability to weigh in on the project, and I don't have those notes with me, but I'm sure they did.
Yeah, they didn't have anything to say really, other than signing off on that.
Because they were talking about if there's any more traffic in that area, the county was considering changing their getting out this little island and to go straight out to Forest View Drive and then put a light there
Yeah,
because there is so much traffic.
yeah, I don't know. All I know is about the water main question here, supplemental agreement number 50. And I think that is something you guys should approve right now. And this is not public comment, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you for the input.
We have to pay for it, I'm assuming?
No, we do not.
Oh,
The
okay.
developer pays
No,
for
the
it.
developer
Okay,
does
all
that.
right.
That's not the question, it's what happens in the future.
I'd make a motion, we accept this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Fuensplus?
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans?
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Agree.
Yes, trustee.
I just found in the planning commission packet the staff report on the connection between the two properties. I'll email
Right.
that out to the board so that you can see what was presented to us.
Was that correct?
Yes.
It's already after the fact, I've already approved it, so don't bother.
You usually like a lot of information.
I do like a lot of information, so, but nobody else does, so that's okay.
I don't know if
That's, that's not an issue for me. They've already decided and already passed. Okay, superintendent report.
Thank you. I will remind you that the Board of Trustees meeting is canceled for July 3rd, 2023. The office, the administrative offices of the police and the fire departments will also be closed on July 3rd and July 4th for observance of the holiday, including the senior center. The senior center will also be closed for some much-needed maintenance. The kitchen will be cleaned during that time. The DPW will be assisting staff with moving the kitchen equipment, which is very heavy around, and so they can clean that and stay up with health department standards. In addition to that, I will remind you of your work session on the board meeting rules of order on July 17th, 2023 at 5:00 PM.
Will the minutes be available for anybody that wants them?
The minutes of what?
I'm sorry, the rules, not the minutes. She does the minutes.
Yes,
The
we
rule,
we will
okay.
make them available.
Thank you. Okay. All right, is there anything else? That's it?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. Item 16, on your agenda, public comments. Again, these are limited to 2. There can be a very short exchange, but it can't be for debate or any other issue. You got your 3 minutes.
First of all, I want to thank Karen and her staff and Jennifer for the outstanding audit. That is amazing, in top 5% in the entire state. There's what, 1,240 townships, and we're in the top 5%. That's 62 townships. So that's pretty darn good. And Chief Phillips is here, and he had a part of that too in the previous regime, so that's pretty spectacular, I think. Another thing is, I would like to suggest that you consider showing cartoons on these big screens during the meetings. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Is there anybody else?
I have a few things. Alan, if you want some questions answered about the light and why there isn't one there, I could share some information with you outside of the meeting.
I know, we've talked to the county, and every time they do something different, they always want to put a light there.
Yeah.
But they've never done it, and I was just surprised, the traffic that could come out of this and go on.
Well, I can give you the details at no time if you want on what I've experienced there. Also, a suggestion, Taylor, you're probably aware of this, I don't know if Mr. Montry is or not, but anytime you write a grant, supporting letters are helpful. You might want to seek support from the Park Lake Advisory Board and the Friends of Park Lake for that funding for that grant. As Karen, as we found out, applying for the kitchen grant, those are very vital, and I think that has been overlooked at that point. Jennifer, the questions I've asked you in the past that you refused to answer about the checks that had not been cashed in the past, I did get a chance to speak to the auditor about that. And I'm assuming that the reason you don't give us a report is maybe you're not clear, and you might want to ask him, because he clarified it with me. And I would like for you to understand that too. As far as not appointing a deputy supervisor, those of you who are afraid of somebody coming in, the unknown, the fear of unknown, if you would really looked into it, it would probably be helpful so that Marie had representation in this office and somebody who could relay information back to her, streamline. The conversation with Jennifer sitting here, when you're talking about something different, you went down a different way, that would have all been taken care of had you brought somebody in for a few hours. She's locked out, obviously. And to have somebody here just to relay the information to her would save you all a lot of hassles. You say you don't want to fight, try to streamline the arguing and the fighting and the miscommunications. You had the opportunity to bring somebody in to do that for you. Lastly, Ryan, you are a married man. I'm a single woman. Please do not wink at me in the audience. I don't like being hit on from the kiosk to the audience. No, really, Ryan.
No, really, you wish.
Really, Ryan, please don't wink at me in the future. I find that very offensive. You're all welcome for the chuckle. That's why I said it.
All right, is there anybody else for public comment too?
Don't start yet. So, did everyone get my email on the board? Did everyone get my email on the board?
Obviously, you're not going to get an answer, but I got it because I had to ask you
I
special
got it.
for it.
Yep.
You didn't. You told me,
Talk to me on the
you
phone.
told me you did, on the phone.
Well, I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Well, that's the only one I sent. I wrote those blanking board room rules. You called me a liar, Ryan. You treat us like we're secondhand citizens. You bully. You try to intimidate us. It doesn't work because you're such a big wuss. All you had to do, I gave you every opportunity. I wasn't even nasty about it at the first board member comment, or first comment. I gave you an opportunity to correct your screw up. I wasn't mean about it. What you said was condescending, and it was a lie. And I proved it to you, but you don't care. You don't care as long as you can spread this crap and talk the supervisor in circles and do whatever you can to muck this up. You don't try to help her out. She might not have been the one you wanted to win this election, but it's not your job to try to tear her down either. I didn't want her to win the election. I wanted me to win it. But I told her I'll be more than happy to do whatever I can to help you out because I care about this township. You don't. All you care about is intimidating people, breaking the law, breaking the Open Meetings Act, and hopefully you can save enough of your soul to get reelected, but I don't see that happening either. So when are you going to apologize to me for lying about me and calling me a liar? Hey, Marie, my time's up.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody else?
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
Well, I know.
you're not fast enough. Next time, be faster.
We're having a party tomorrow. I hope you'll all come. Tomorrow is the summer solstice, and we're celebrating down at Wishwasher Park and the boat launch.
Thank you.
The party's from 5 to 10. We'll have all kinds of activities in the park, and the map is on the back of what I've just handed out. I feel it's very important that I talk to you seriously about the fact that this is a premier event in Bath Township. We work really hard on planning this event, and we go out and solicit partners and collaborators, and it is a good time, and we spend a lot of money to bring this event to the community. And I will just say it hurts me to be threatened by the director of the Parks Department that if he sees one car park on or drive on the grass, Friends of Park Lake will be never allowed to use that park again.
Seriously.
I'm sorry.
Seriously.
But we're having a band come. They are going to pull in beside the pavilion. There's a 5-piece band. They're going to unload equipment. I've got seniors from the Lions Club who are bringing in popcorn poppers. And, you know, I can't promise you that nobody will drive on the grass. I just can't promise that. I'm going to do my best. We always do our best. But for us, safety is really important. And when the township says we can't even park cars in the park, that we have to park along the street, it increases the safety, the danger that comes with an event like that. In past years, we have always worked with the owner of the Blue House to allow people to park in that property where the Blue House and the driveway were. It takes people off the street. It allows parking near the venue. It allows for increased safety. And it's difficult. I would like to ask the board right now if you would allow us to park in the park on the section of property that was the blue house and the driveway. If you tell us no, then we will do everything we can. We will park on the street. It's not safe, but we will do that. Also, communication is very important, and I understand that, and I am really sorry that the resolution that you passed did not allow us to use the boat launch. We always use the boat launch. We have MSU Extension biologists and fisheries and wildlife specialists at the boat launch, throwing a big net into the water, pulling it out with kids and finding out what's in that net, you know, and just learning what lies beneath the water. We're not fishing, but we will be at the boat launch. In years past, we've had a partner who is Summit Sports, who brings us paddle boards and kayaks so people can try them. We've always had permission to use the boat launch. The boat launch has always been closed for us during the summer solstice party, and according to the emails that I've got today, the township's not even willing to close the boat launch. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be negative. I'm excited about tomorrow. We are going to have a great time. It is going to be a good party. It is going to be a great event. We've had as many as 400, 500 people down there for that event. All I'm asking is some flexibility. Please, if a vendor that I have who's bringing 10 by 8 foot acrylic paintings to the venue to sell, if she can't drive over by the bathroom from the backside and put her paintings out of her car, or else we'll never be able to use the park again. Is that realistic? I'm asking, is it realistic? Could we have a conversation, please? Karen? Anyone?
I got a question, of course. Who by any chance made the determination for the Park and Recs to tell you you couldn't do that?
Do what?
Couldn't drive on the grass?
Ben, the director of parks.
Well, who gave him,
I think it was due to some damage from a prior year.
okay, that we couldn't repair?
We've never been told that we've damaged the park.
And we didn't repair it, or we did repair it?
We did repair it.
Okay. So that was the reason?
I think we were just asking that it not be damaged.
Oh. Were you notified of the damage? Obviously not.
Yeah, I've never been
Okay.
told that we've damaged the park.
What's the process for that?
I can't answer that. I'd have to go back and ask if she was notified or what happened.
So you have no clue?
It was a year ago. I
Yeah.
can't answer you at this time. I can look into it and answer you, but I can't answer it at this time.
Huh. Okay. But that seems a little odd because this has been in the works for weeks now, months actually.
Months.
Yeah. Okay. No, so what conversation, does the board have a conversation? Apparently not. Is there any?
My email from Ben says, in capital letters in bold, absolutely no parking or driving on the grass anywhere within the park. This includes vendors. This happened last year after being told not to do so, and that if it happened again, Friends of Park Lake will no longer be able to rent the park, and we mean it. Now, is that threatening? Is that a good partner? I am sorry, but we are throwing a party for Beth, and I get an email like that? It's embarrassing. I'm sorry, but that's...
Okay.
Okay, what?
No, okay for the information. That's appreciated. We
Sounds
contacted Ben.
ridiculous
It does
on the
sound
set
ridiculous,
from here.
But we don't know Ben's side.
We spent hours planning this event. We'll spend probably $1,200 to bring this party to the community.
But we don't know what
We
damage.
can't
is there.
even
Okay.
bring
okay.
a car onto the grass to, I mean, in most facilities, I mean, in most festivals, when you see a festival, many vendors use their vehicle as
Yes,
part of
they
their
do.
booth.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, it's not like
It's all the rain,
we're
the
not being
mud.
reckless, the grass is already, I mean, it's dry out there.
No.
We're not even putting ruts in the grass. I read it. I understand the threat. He said, even in a later email said, we got cameras down there. All right.
We have those everywhere. That's, all right. My question for you, Judy. These vendors that, from your design that you have, these are in grass, aren't they? I mean, that's,
That's the park. We use the
So-
park.
no, I'm trying to say hello. No, I'm trying to figure out with Wiswasser's pavilion is located further to the right of this, correct?
No, the pavilion is right down here, Marie. This is
That's-
this is the playground and this is the
Where the
pavilion.
band is.
This is Park Lake up
Yep.
here.
Okay. So this is to the right of, if I'm understanding what you've done, you've put them on the grass. How are they going to, is that your question, obviously, is how they're going to get there? If you can't-
Without driving or, I mean, this is a festival, this is an event, this is this is in the park.
Is the township going to be there, is law enforcement going to be there to stop them from?
Are they gonna come down and help us get them,
No, that's what I mean.
are you sending staff down to get my vendors and their things to the park?
My only offer to you is that in the intention of there's infrastructure in the ground, there's drain tile in the ground, there's water lines in the ground. I can imagine that's part of why we didn't want there to be driving on the park. I can't offer you additional information at this time.
You can't what?
I can't offer you additional information at this time.
Additional information.
I'm just giving you an answer as to why driving could be damaging to the park.
Huh. Okay.
Hey, Ryan, what do you think about it? Have you been ever down to the summer solstice party? I think you have, haven't you, with your family?
Yeah.
What do you think about not being able to, have a vendor drive over to a certain spot and unload their stuff and get back off the park?
It's hard to answer, Judy, without Ben here to explain what he was talking about.
I was asking your opinion, but I'm not asking you to explain. Anyone else have an opinion about this? Marie?
It doesn't make sense, and I guess I question the authority over the park. And that would be Ben. He has the authority, but he gets his authority from other places.
Right, it's Karen. I
So-
mean, all I'm saying is it just, I felt very threatened. I mean, I think that Friends of Park Lake does a lot of good stuff for the community.
Yes,
I
they
think
do.
we've worked together in the past really well. I mean, I was shocked to be threatened. I just don't think that being threatened is the right way to say it. I mean, we will adhere to what Ben says. We will risk the lives of some of our festival goers by not allowing them to park in the park. I know where, it just seems a little unreasonable. And we will be having MSU Extension Fisheries and Wildlife at the boat launch with the big net casting. we've done it for years, you know, I just,
If we're concerned about the pipes that are there, is there any way that they can be marked?
It's unclear to me if it could be marked by tomorrow.
marked, what would be marked, Marie?
Well, it'd be like sticking a flag.
Water lines
in
or
that
whatever.
says
Oh,
that's a
water
water
lines
line,
marked.
so don't
Don't drive over
cross
that.
over if that's the concern.
I mean,
That's-
you know, if the staff, we're, you know, we're starting to set up at 3 o'clock. If they want to come down and help us until they get off work at 5, you know, we'd be glad. People are coming in at 4 o'clock. If they want to come and help us carry stuff from the parking lot to where people are vending and, you know, if they want to help us, we'd love to have them down there. If they don't want us to park on the grass or drive on the grass,
Should've been
send
more
some guys down to
general.
help us.
Okay. Nobody's keeping track of your time, so
I feel so privileged.
you should, because
I was excited when you gave us the information, so I was paying attention to your information.
No, it's going to be a fun time, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, Ben is going to bring down some tables and chairs for us and some barricades and some
well, how's he gonna get them there if he doesn't walk on the grass?
cones. He's going to drive them in the parking lot just like everybody else and he'll just put
Walk
them,
them, okay,
just put them down.
okay, no, I, just curious.
But we are having a concert from 7 to 9, Dangling Participles. They're a great group, bring a long chair, come on down. Good luck finding a place to park, but
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure I didn't use my 3 minutes, and Mr. Balzer gave me the pleasure of stepping up. To be clear, we can't drive in Wiswasser Park because there might be a drain pipe. Water lines
Well,
cannot be damaged, but
that's
yet
right.
we can drive all over James Cousins Memorial Park, all over the foundation
Yep.
of the school. We can park vehicles on top of the foundation of the school to have a farmer's market. I'm a little concerned. If we're concerned about our grass growing, maybe our farmer's market needs to move. So be fair to people. Probably no one thought of that one. That's the first thing that popped in my
Right.
head.
Thank
Why are you
you.
driving on that to begin with is beyond my belief. But yet you can't pull up a vendor to unload, not even park, unload on the grass where there's nothing under it. Most of that park has nothing under it, zero. There may be a drain pipe or two. You can't hurt those water lines. You can drive over those all day long. They're deep enough. It's not going to hurt them. Be fair to everybody. Stop showing favoritism, number one, and stop driving on the school.
Thank you, Cindy. We have another taker?
I just have a question. It's on the Timber Ridge drain. What is it? I can't find any information on it.
Nope, the only thing that was given to me was the letter, and I talked to the drain commissioner about it, and apparently they're coming in to either clean or repair or whatever they're gonna be doing, here it is, the Timber Ridge Drain. That's what they do.
Okay.
So the best thing, if you couldn't find anything on it, do you live in that area?
It goes right beside me.
Okay, then I'd call. You didn't get a letter?
No.
Oh, I would definitely call Mr. Hanson. He's really good about that. And he's very good about, so is his staff, about taking the calls. So I definitely would call him and ask him, because that's his job.
Hanson?
Yes, Phil, it's Hansis. Yeah,
Oh,
Does he want this?
oh, that should have been,
Does he want my copy?
Dean?
I can get another one.
you want a
Dean,
copy
you
of
wants
it?
it. Do you want this?
sure.
It's got his information at the top and
yeah,
everything
he
for
said,
you.
he told me there were 300 letters that went out. So obviously, you were 301.
No, maybe I just haven't got it yet.
Well,
Oh, no, he sent it out a while ago.
it's,
Oh, no,
it was
I
the end of
know
May. It was
Yeah,
sent out,
this
it
has
shows.
been the works for quite a while. I'm only doing an FYI so that people, so it's a good
Yeah,
thing.
this is the first I've heard about it.
Okay,
They'll just give you a bill is all.
okay, Dee, no, thank you. Any more?
Hi there, I'm Mike Lapham. I live in the township here, and as most of you know or can guess, I do work for the police department as well.
Oh,
I just
no,
wanted
couldn't
to-
tell by your dress.
Right.
Yeah.
I love wearing this stuff around.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
As the union steward for the union with the police officers, I just kind of wanted to breach a topic with you guys real quickly. I know I only have a couple minutes here. This is something I'd like to explore further with all of you, but there is an eligible use for ARPA funds that does directly affect police officers, and that is to provide they say premium, I prefer hazard, but
Hazard.
to provide a premium pay for essential workers, offering additional support to those who have and will bear the greatest health risks because of their service critical sectors. Eligible workers defined as persons who worked, the workers needed to maintain the continuity of operations of essential critical infrastructure sectors and additional sectors as each. And it goes on in the final rule to basically talk about compensating workers that by virtue of their employment were forced to take on additional burdens and make great personal sacrifices as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Premium hazard pay can be thought of as hazard pay by another name. See, they even agree with me. It also breaks down into essential work that is not performed at home. It is either regular in-person interactions with patients, public, coworkers of the individual that is performing the work, or regular physical handling of items that were handled by or are about to be handled by patients, the public, coworkers of the individual that is performing the work. There's a lot more here to it. I don't want to use up all my time. Basically, we find that the officers of Bath Township Police Department, as well as Lieutenant Mardigan, Sergeant Hamilton, and Administrative Assistant Christy Colby would be eligible for these funds. We've done some of the math here. I can get those numbers to you, but what we're asking for would account for 16% of what the township has gotten through these ARPA funds. You know, I don't have to tell you that police work is a very difficult job. He'll probably agree with me, it's very different these days, and COVID made it extremely different for us. We ended up losing a good friend of ours, Sergeant Billy Darnell from DeWitt Township, because of it, retired Officer Wilson, and some others. So, it's important to the morale of the department. Right now, we are facing a very unique situation, policing in general, with retention, with hiring, trying to get people to want to do this job anymore. So what we're looking for is just a little bit of compensation for having to work through this pandemic. It's no surprise that some people had to stay home 24/7, found that they can't necessarily cohabitate very well with their families, so our calls for service did increase. We found that mental health call for services have increased quite a bit. All of our officers at the township here are CIT trained. We handle critical incidents, I feel, very well as far as police work goes. Unfortunately, I've seen other agencies that don't adhere to it as well. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to breach the subject with y'all, so you weren't surprised if I come back with a little bit more information.
I got a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else got a question? Oh,
I have a comment, but.
oh, go ahead.
I breached the topic with the board that there would be a proposal be coming from your union.
Awesome.
And that would come with a bunch of other ARPA proposals to them
Okay.
in their July meeting.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, my question had to do with, when you spoke of Christie, for example, and who else, you went so fast through it, there was.
Sorry.
No, that's, I know,
I'm
it's 3
looking-
minutes does that.
So I'm looking at our road patrol officers, that includes
Okay.
retired officer Gregory Welch, Officer Heffelfinger, and Officer Bailey, who came in during the COVID pandemic.
How many road patrol would that make?
It would be about 11.
11?
Yep.
Okay,
And then, you know, Christy had to come in to the office to handle a significant amount of our workload that we brought to her, as we are one to do. And so she was still exposed to the public quite a bit. She did not have as much opportunity to telecommunicate from home, work from home, Zoom meetings, all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
she was still exposed to us just as much as we were exposed to her. And you have to remember, our job requires us to go into residences with people we don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Our job requires us to go into their vehicles. It requires
yeah.
us to go hands-on with them, whether to provide medical aid or effect arrest. I have to touch people's stuff. That's not necessarily the greatest stuff I have to touch, right? And now, this was all during the time when we had no idea what the pandemic meant. We didn't know how deadly this virus could be, how transmissible it was. I still had to go home to my family, right? So.
no, you don't, you wash your hands and you just say, nice seeing you, goodbye, and you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I
So,
know, I get it.
And I'm not unique in that. All the officers faced the same things, and I'll say, you know, the fire department, they also did, as well as, you know, Mercy Ambulance Services and other medical responders that assist us. But you know, just being the union steward, I'm here, basically just to represent the officers of the department and then try to speak on behalf of Lieutenant Mardigan, Sergeant Hamilton, and Christie as well, so.
I'm so
because
sorry you're holding that position, but
It's a fantastic bear.
I was,
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of my position as a union steward. I
Yes,
try to treat my guys with the utmost respect and get what I feel that, I hate using the word entitled, I think it's kind of a goofy word, but we're certainly eligible for, what we're asking for here. So that's why I'm
All right,
now
Bill.
going on a couple minutes here.
that's quite all right. I never thought the 3 minutes, but anyway, your thoughts and your thoughts with, are you including in the ARPA, are you including in the discussion that you'll be having the written word
I'll be bringing their document
with the, no,
to
with
this
the fire
board.
department also?
I will ask them to put together a proposal because they do
Okay.
not have one of their own, but yes, those will come to you.
Okay, because I didn't know if they had a union steward or not.
They don't have a
I
union.
didn't think they did, but.
No, they don't have a union.
That doesn't mean, thank you.
Yeah, so thank y'all for your time. No offense, I
Thank
hope I
you.
don't see any of you later tonight.
Thank you. Come visit.
Yeah, yeah, please do. Nothing personal, but go away. Thank you. Yeah, so did I. Okay. Board comments, I think, unless there's somebody else. Are you
Public's
done?
done.
Are you done, Dean? Okay. You got your information? Make that call.
I will.
No, seriously, he's really, really good to talk with, but I don't understand why you didn't get a letter. Anyway, is there any board comments? Yeah, no, hang on. I started with you last time.
Good.
So trustee Feedwin Bliss, do you
Few
have?
Bliss, thanks.
Yes.
One more time, thanks to Karen, the team, and Steve, and
You did that?
Jennifer around the audit. I just think we just went through our audit in my office, and it's a beast, and it means a lot when you get a clean audit, so thanks for that. I also think we ended the year far ahead of where we expected, where we had budgeted to, which is always a nice positive as well. I also don't know if you all caught today, the Robin grants were announced. Clinton County is not on the list. I've got some information passed around for you. There's 11 entities that have been approved, and then you can click on an interactive map to see where they will be connected to, and you can see Clinton County is not, there's not a spot of color on it. There's a comment period that folks can provide comments to Leo while they're working through the final process through August 4th. So it's not final, but, you know, I think it would take probably a lot of specific feedback for Leo to bail on these grantees already. But I think that does then beg the issue, what is Clinton County going to do? And perhaps even more topical for us then is, what is Bath Township going to do? So I saw that come across my email today and thought I would share that with you. And that's it for me.
I'm fine.
I don't have anything.
Thank you guys for being here so, well, 10 to 9, effective and efficient.
I'm not done.
So, no, you're not done, you're coming. You're coming. So, thank you all for being here. Do check.
Just thank everybody for coming.
You're not done, go ahead.
Oh, it's great on the audit. That's really nice. Just a couple of oddball things, and I don't know who to address it to, but I saw Marie's phone number, and I called it up
Oh,
in
that's
our
right.
office, and strangely, her voice is there in her own voice saying, "This is Marie Howe, please leave a message." And it is not, one would think if I didn't know better, that it was automatically transferred somehow magically to her home phone.
No.
Which it's not. So when I leave the message for Marie that, I'd like to meet you for discussing our business dealings, et cetera, I assume she got it. And now I really don't know who got it, because it's still in our office with her voice on it, and I do not like that. That's impersonating this woman in our office. So I don't know who's responsible for it. I really don't care, but I think it's not correct in any way, shape, or form. And I also do believe we need a deputy supervisor, not superintendent, somehow, some way, whether it's function 1, 2, or 3, that we need to have this communication gap from the office to you, and especially when we have a phone in there that has her voice on it saying, "This is Marie Howe," and it's not transferred to her house as far as I know. I don't like that. Who's getting it and who's doing what with the information I left for her at this township's office? That is wrong. Completely wrong. Who's responsible? I have no idea, but I don't like it.
I'm glad you brought that up. I should have, I'm going to reverse my comment. Not that I don't want you to call him, because that's not true. But that's a really good point. The other point being, I have a landline, and it's always been available, but no one asked permission to put it on the site. I don't, which is, I put it on my own literature because I do that, but no one said to me, your number's going to be there. The only reason, in fact, I got my very, very first constituent call on the holiday. My very first one, which actually had an issue that I knew couldn't be addressed because it was a holiday. So, and how he got it was through the website.
Oh, and I need to add to that, I'm sorry, if it's
No.
part of it, is my phone number's not on there, I don't know what I have to do to get my phone number on there. You have it.
So you, so Taylor, you should have asked me or not?
Oh.
You indicated to the front office. You
Yes.
indicated to the front office staff that if someone wanted your phone number, that it could, that your landline could be given to them. So that is why it was put on the website, so that people were not calling and asking for your phone number, so
I
that it
don't
was available.
think
to them.
that's quite the same, but your concept may be different than mine. Lizzie and I have a tendency to disagree, so we can respectfully disagree with that thought. I don't mind my home phone. What I did mind was when in fact it was brought to my attention, I had never been asked.
That was because you indicated to the front office that you wanted it shared with anyone that asked for it.
So it makes sense to have it on the website.
No, it doesn't, not without my permission. That was not my permission to put on the website. Sharing it would be, hello, Jennifer, where's Marie's number? That's sharing.
Would you
So
like it taken down?
that's, oh, hell no.
Okay.
But the point being, and that's what I said to you, we've always had the landline, it's always been used. But when I saw it on there, I thought, whoa, that's not my direct line, which is on my business card, and that's, I think, what Sherry's talking about, is my direct line that's being accessed.
It's in the office.
I have no idea.
No one is accessing it because no one has the password to your voicemail.
I don't
No
have a
one has
password.
access to it. Everyone has a password to
I
the
don't
voicemail.
have a password.
You had one when you were here.
No, I didn't.
We all have a password to our voicemails.
It's
Okay,
how you
we all got a
recorded your
password to the
voice.
voicemail.
You have to have a
Yep.
password to record your voice.
Well, that is not ever used. That password is solely for, if that's what it is solely used, I don't ever remember using that, of letting people know that, yes, that's my direct line, which is what is on my business
Your
card.
password is for you to access your voicemail. If someone were to leave you
No.
a voicemail, you would enter a password in order to access your voicemail.
I'm sorry, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
That's how
So-
voicemail works. No
That's
one's
how
getting
everyone
into it.
else's
You can call from
office
home
number
and get
is.
your messages now.
No,
So,
no.
yes, you can.
All you gotta do is transfer the sucker. All you gotta do
We
is
can't
just
transfer outside.
That's, okay. Anyway, enough of that. So my comments are over. Your comments over?
I
Okay.
move the meeting be adjourned.
Second.
Mr.
Thank you,
Rosecrans?
Al.
Yes.
Ms. Butler Challenger, yes. Ms. Howe?
You're gonna
Oh,
like that,
yes.
wasn't ya?
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Kellerman?
Yep.
Mr. Funes Bliss?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now?